Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 84th episode of Screaming Into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Sammy the Infamous. I'm late as fuck, and with me are Devil May Green Anti-Liberal. How you guys doing?
Good. Not as sleepy as you, it seems, but here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't know. So we get up Beelzebub early in the morning, guys, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed and I'll get up and set all this stuff up and it'll be fine. And I went to bed and I couldn't sleep, so I watched I don't even remember what it was, but it was about 2.5 hours long. So it's like 6:30 in the morning here, and I finally get to sleep. And the next thing I know, it's like 3:30, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta wake up and get moving. So here we are.
It's been snowing all day here. It's been snowing. Is it snowy up there?
It was snowing last night. It's not currently. Most of it's melted off already.
It's been snowing all day here. And it's just the super light snow, but it's all day. It's cold.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's cold here, but not cold here either.
That's probably because of El Nino crap.
Every time I hear that, look who it is, the Swiftie.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I hate being on the same screen as you.
I know, and that's why I'm here.
Welcome, Ryan. To answer your question, so Ryan sent me a text a little bit ago, and he's like, "What? No show today?" I was like, "No, man. I just fucking woke up. I gotta get it set up."
I figured that's what it was. It's just you're so religious, a lot of times about doing it the night before that, or even a couple days before. So
hearing
that's
someone say that Sam is religious is always
weird.
Maybe a stickler. Would you prefer that?
Yeah, it's a certain type of religion.
I'm pretty rigid about it, and this is why. This right here, this is what happened today. This is why. If I don't get it done before a certain time, it might not get done. So,
Oh, I don't blame you there. I'm the same way. It's like I gotta get up by then to get it done, get it set.
Yeah. All right, let's say hello to the chat real quick. I don't want to, Kenzo. Love you, buddy, but not that much. Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
What's weird?
We got
Kenzo. He's been really weird today.
Yeah. Well, he had a rough night last night. So, Don Van Butt, greetings, welcome. Got Real Wade with us today.
Hey, Wade.
Day for you today. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Well, I hope things get better. All that. Also, appreciate that. Thank you. He also says, Gal is awesome. I guess fuck the other two though, right?
No, what the hell, man?
Devil's just an extension of me, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm no longer allowed to be addressed as myself. I'm her
Right.
other.
Your gal's devil. It's fine. You're still
That
yourself.
sounds horrendous.
No, it doesn't.
So, well, Wade, we're always glad to have you. Everybody else in chat, good to see you
Devil,
guys too.
Tap SOS and Morse code on the microphone if you need help.
He started all of this.
Yeah, I'm
I
the
wasn't
one.
even conscious.
I proposed. It's
Proposed?
You shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like
That's how you said it. You're like, yeah, I proposed.
He meant what I said.
Yeah.
That I was
okay.
unconscious.
What even conscience?
Well, I mean, I don't remember being there for the conversation.
So we
She
are
says
we
that.
are
The best
live on.
ones.
Yeah, we're live on Twix, YouTube, and Rumble. And as usual, I have not gotten around to fixing the whole Rumble issue with showing up in StreamYard. So we'll try to engage with you guys as much as possible over on the Rumble side as well.
It's actually they made it super easy, to be honest. Yeah, all you have to do is click the Rumble link, and then they'll actually have you link your account, and then you go to you need a special key, and it's really not that bad. It really isn't.
yeah, no,
Well,
no.
it's
Dermy
just
walked
more
me through it the
weight.
other day. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Okay. We're also live on my Twitter too. Because Twitter is probably the last free speech platform. I think even Rumble is a little iffy at some points. So
Yeah, Rumble is it is what it is. I don't know. We'll see how that goes in the future, because I think YouTube's gonna fucking burn itself down.
Eventually.
yeah. Oh yeah, and especially because of the fact that so literally the last Friday Night's Royal Rumble or whatever, I had to actually verify in the description. I had to verify my account so that the links of everybody could be clicked. That's not a joke. No, I'm not lying. And I think it was because
Oh,
'cause
yeah. It's one of the punishments for having a channel strike.
is that what it is? I was
Yeah,
leaning towards that.
it was
Yeah.
in the email. Yeah, it was in the email.
I didn't
You
know.
can't put
Okay.
external links. You can't pin comments. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing.
Oh, look, we're over 7 minutes. Fuck you, YouTube.
I thought it was
That's
8
essentially what I
minutes.
said.
No, it's 7 minutes.
So there is another way to do that, is just kind of wait out the strike and, like, quote unquote, build good channel history or whatever, which basically means don't piss
Okay.
them off again in that time. And you
I
should be
did
able
the
to get
face
those
thing,
back,
but they're like going, well, would you like to upload your ID? And I'm like going, you can eat a bag of fucking assholes.
yeah, that's essentially where I was at with it. I was like, I'm not giving you guys my face. I'm certainly not.
Well,
This is one of the reasons,
for
like,
you that's more
when we
prominent.
get
Yeah.
when we get blocked on Engage and all that stuff, I don't take it to the appeal process, because that involves giving them my fucking address. So,
Yeah.
if it
skirted
doesn't
around
get
that.
through dispute, then it doesn't get through. So, I mean, I guess I could give them your address.
Hey, well, I mean, you could. No, I when I say I've skirted around it, I put NA in all the all the categories except for the United States and my email. Also, I don't actually sign it with my name. I just sign it with LG 2076, which is technically against terms of service, but I haven't been hit yet.
Yeah. Well, here's what it is. Zeron, good to see you, guy. Haven't seen you in a bit. Wookie be bad. Always a good time.
Oh, Wookie.
Did you see Beak?
So, I did see Beak. Yes. Yes, I did. In fun fact about Beak: if you don't see Beak, that doesn't mean he ain't here.
Yeah, that's true. Beak's
There was a
always around.
time when the only time that you would see him was at the end of a live stream, when he would, like, say something like "thanks for the show," or on a monetized channel, he would drop $20, kind of thing like that, just to be awesome, because Beak is awesome. But he would never say anything in chat. He's only been getting chatty in the last year. So, which we're glad to see.
There ain't nothing wrong with lurkers.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Me,
a
90%
lurker for a while.
That's how I started.
I got mouthy. That's how I started.
I can't imagine you not being mouthy at any point.
Well, like Devil and I were talking backstage about when we got started doing YouTube, and how we got started and all that stuff. And as most of you guys in chat know, I got started over on Amir's channel on Exiled Linus, the original Exiled Linus, not Exiled Linus 2. And essentially, I was just a guy watching the show and commenting. And the next thing I know, I've got moderation powers. And the next thing I know after that, I'm like top mod channel manager and producer. And it just kind of like happened organically. It was the weirdest thing. But I woke up one day and I was like, I have all this power and I don't know why. You know, but I did so because I kept opening my mouth. I said some really ugly shit and some really pretty shit and some, just regular old people talking shit. So,
Speaking of talking shit, Cal, maybe you should actually make the sandwich for your brother since he's in the wheelchair. Just FYI.
He's not helpless.
CLS, good to see you.
I love
it when your brother rolls through it, and then when off screen he'll like roll through, and then all of a sudden, within half a second, he says something.
Yeah, she does that to me all the time. Well, like, hey, babe, giving her the wink, and she's all like, "You're not helpless." Okay, thank you.
What?
Make your own damn sandwich.
Work it out for yourself. It's like when I haven't talked to my dad in a while, he'll be like, yeah. So he'll call me up. He'll be like, hey, did you go to the hospital? I'm like, what, Dad? And it's like, did you break your hands? Well, no. It's like, you can't pick up a pen or a phone.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. He gets kind of touchy about that.
And then Sanilo dropped over from Twitter into the Rumble chat. Sanilo.
Nice. Give me just a second and I'll swap back over. Hi, Sanilo. Good to see you. Welcome. So I want to start with a quick little video that I think is pretty humorous. As soon as I get this shit to load up, there we go.
It's not a femur.
That? Everything hates me. Yeah, no, it isn't a femur. Why would it be a femur? Like, what did leg bones have to do with it?
Femur, humorous.
Oh, ha.
Logical jokes.
You need coffee.
So funny. I don't drink coffee, which is probably part of the problem. I used to do meth, but
Damn. I was just going to ask the chat. Remember when women were funny? No, me either.
Some of them are, just not this one.
Oh, wow.
So
abort.
I don't. I don't
drop.
feel that way, Gal.
I know.
Sometimes I
flip you off.
I do. That's why I left.
Here's the thing: is I have a very analytical mind, and sometimes the humor does escape me. It does happen,
as demonstrated in real time moments ago.
Yes. However, this is not one of those times. This video is fucking hilarious.
A snake?
Yep.
That's a hell no. Oh my God.
The baby
Up
started
on the
dragging
couch
the snake
screaming.
around.
That's that kid's. Yeah.
Nope.
Please.
Nice.
Save your child.
He's a champion.
What's funny about that is it's like, who the fuck is filming?
Right.
Dad's filming.
Yeah. Dad's filming and he's laughing his ass off. From what I understand, the backstory of this is that snake is actually a family pet, but it's not like she's not cool with it.
Yeah, that has to be a family pet because it looks like a boa constrictor, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a rock python, but yeah.
Okay, so it's a part of the constrictor family.
I actually think that it should be killed with fire.
Why? What did it do to you?
It's a snake.
It didn't do anything to you.
As a snake.
I think you're one of those people who has an irrational fear of snakes.
It's not irrational.
It kind of is.
It's not irrational.
Well, all right. It depends on the snake. Now, if it was a giant constrictor, yes, and it was like 26
I've
feet
seen
long.
Anaconda.
That was a movie with Jennifer Lopez in it. What? Also, anacondas are actually legit huge snakes. I mean, it's like the daddy long leg's not gonna do stuff to you.
I
So.
prefer to kill it with fire and not ask questions until after.
Doesn't make any sense.
I could be wrong, but daddy long legs, I think, are
Yeah.
actually very poisonous. Their
mouths are
fangs
too
aren't big
small.
enough to get through your
They are.
skin.
Okay, so
That's
so
a
so the
misnomer.
thing is, it is, yeah. Daddy long legs are actually one of the reasons they're such a top-notch predator is because yes, they're very venomous, but they only go after pests. They don't actually go after humans, right? They don't want that human interaction.
If you piss
Much
them
like
off, they
most
do.
Well, I mean, if you piss them off, I mean, but like that's like saying that
I
I'm
was
going to go
10
play with a
years
black
old.
widow.
Yeah, I was 10 years old, and I did get bit by one on my left thumb.
Mhm.
And while
Yep.
you're right, devil, to a degree, their fangs are very, very small. They can't penetrate all the layers of skin. If they can penetrate that first, my thumb was numb for a week.
Yeah, it's something that it doesn't usually get to the bloodstream, and that's one of the problems.
Which is
with,
good because I would be dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is part of the problem with like black widows and rattlesnakes, stuff like that. If it gets into your bloodstream, it starts affecting your your heart, your organs, stuff like that. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, with rattlesnakes in
very nice
particular,
photo.
it's a neurotoxin. So if it gets to your heart, basically it doesn't it's not being in the bloodstream that's the problem. It messes with your nerve endings, which of course control all your muscles, and that includes your heart.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you know.
It uses the bloodstream as is basically a highway, and the heart as basically the hub. So
The real fun ones are the Mojave Greens, who have two different kinds of venom, both of which it's kind of like getting injected with sarin gas.
ooh,
It's ugly.
Brown
It's like you get bit by
recluses.
one of those, you're probably not going to live.
The brown recluses, their venom makes this your flesh necrotic, so you
Yep.
actually start to rot and shit. It's pretty nasty.
They also
Yep.
have one of the nastiest, most unique venoms on Earth.
Yeah.
Really,
Yep.
really ugly stuff. If you catch it in time, you can get treated for it and all that. I've got a buddy, and my mother actually was bit by one when she was a kid. Don't leave your pants lying on the floor, people. Just saying. Like if you go to bed, take your pants off, drop them on the floor, and then you get back up in the morning, you put them back on. Don't do that. Always check. Always.
Yep.
Yeah. But so she's got a spot on her leg that's been numb since she was like 10 years old because of that. And then another buddy of mine is what's going on with Gal? What are we doing?
Hi,
here?
gals, brother.
Fucking spiders and snakes.
Hi, gals,
Yes.
brother.
Then I'm taking my headphones out until we're done.
Oh my God, you were such
All
a
right.
girl.
Well, I'll finish the story real quick. So my other buddy was in California. He got bit by one, but he didn't realize that's what it was. So for like 3 days or so, he just kind of let it go. And by the time he started feeling sick enough to go to the hospital, the doctors told him if he had waited another like 6 hours, he'd be dead because the venom had nearly reached his heart. And he's got this like gouge in his arm where it rotted all the flesh.
Hey, gal, real quick. You know that cockroaches will actually climb in your ear and they can't back up, so they get stuck.
So the topic of the day is
I
We will
don't
get to
know.
that in just a
scare
moment.
gal.
Real Wade has says, I'm here. I'm just trying to plan something and it's falling apart more than I thought it would be. Sorry to hear that, man. But best laid plans, I guess.
Well, wait.
No,
Let's focus on something positive. How's your YouTube channel looking? Did you hit 1,200? It's 1,200, right? I hope
I
you
think
did,
so.
dude. Wade's a good
He's
dude.
pretty close if he's not there yet. Yeah.
He was like 7 away the last time we talked about it or something like that. He says yes. Awesome, dude. Look at that. Yeah, man. Look at that.
Speaking of getting people up there, go sub to the hub. Go sub to Devil's channel. He's only a couple away from reaching 200.
which was his goal. before
Thank you.
Vegas.
So link
And
is
then
in
he
the
pulls his
description
penis
below.
out. I mean, his face.
Yeah, do a face reveal in Vegas if I get to 200 and I'm able to get there financially. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get Gal to the wedding chapel while we're there.
Honka
Gotta-
burning love.
I already know my wedding vows. I will protect you from snakes and spiders, and you will protect me from the pervert dermy.
Am I allowed to actually sing "Careless Whisper" at the wedding reception?
Yes,
So that's what this is all about.
dance again.
You need
Guilty feeling, you got no rhythm. It'll be a duet. Samuel and
When
I.
people talk about that song, I don't know it.
You don't know.
Wham!
What in the hell?
George Michael and the other guy.
Wham.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet, I've got no rhythm. It's about cheating
It's really
and then
not
trying to
my
make
thing.
amends for it.
Yeah, dance with you. Oh,
It's a great song, actually. It really is.
Welcome, smoking auditor.
Hello.
All
I
right,
do, I guess, technically know the song then. Devil knows how I am with songs and lyrics and who sings and whatever. So
So, what do you guys know about Julius Malema?
Nothing.
He is very possibly going to be voted in as the new head dude, prime minister, whatever they call it, over in South Africa.
South Africa. Got it.
oh yeah.
He's racist against white people and has called for
Genocide.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Yeah,
Of
we're
the
going to watch a little
farmers and-
compilation video of that. Yeah.
That's what I know about it.
Oh,
I know a
didn't
lot
realize
about
that
the
was his name.
farm murders. I know a lot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is him here. Apparently the leader of a group called the Economic Freedom Fighters, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I got to tell you guys, anytime somebody calls himself a freedom fighter, 9 times out of 10, they're a terrorist or a revolutionary.
Antifa.
Yeah.
So
We're anti-fascist. And it's like, but we will censor your freedom of speech. And if you have a different opinion than us, we will beat you to half to death. Good talk. Yes. Wade, socialist, communist,
yeah, kind of.
fascist.
I think he's just a murderous asshole. But here, let's in his own words.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we've not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies. Cry babies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now.
I can't give a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now.
We are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future, you may very well call for the slaughter of white people.
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
Shoot to kill. Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa.
That's
He
some
seems
cool
fun.
shit.
Yeah. Thoughts?
It seems fun.
Is he going to be happy if the white people take up arms and start killing black people? Is he
Fighting
going to be
back.
okay with that?
Oh, that'll just give him every excuse he needs.
Well, I'm saying though, it usually it doesn't go one way. It's not like
Yeah.
you start a revolution, you start killing white people just go, okay, I guess we're dead. You know,
Yeah.
they
Well,
have guns too, right? I mean,
I don't know what the gun situation in South Africa looks like. Actually, this is going to come out sounding kind of racist, but I figured it was mostly machetes.
the gun situation in South Africa, from what I understand, is mostly the police, the military, stuff like that.
well,
Because South Africa has been kind of abandoned. You know, South Africa has been in turmoil for probably the last decade and a half. Um, it's not a friendly place. It's one of those places too that you're actually told by civilized countries, maybe don't go there. And I think Elon Musk would actually agree with that, considering the fact that apartheid took place there. Look, I understand they may be angry, but turning the barrel of the gun around on somebody else, not necessarily the best way to live either.
well, I know they have guns because of hunting and
They
a
do,
lot of
yeah.
farmland. They have to be able to protect themselves from the animals and stuff. So there's guns. I don't know if they're allowed to have like, more sportsman type rifles or if it's all just straight up bullet action type rifles. I don't know what level they have it to, but they do have guns, and that's why a lot of the farmers, a lot of them are done with guns too.
So they have to have a license. They have to take a competency, get a competency certificate. They have to license the firearm. Occasional sport shooter hunting, dedicated sport shooter hunting, self-defense.
And if they're farmers, like you got to figure, like we're talking Africa here. They got a lot of really big fauna, that would have no problem walking onto their property and eating all their crops or their livestock.
Yeah.
Yes. So hunting is something that they obviously do. However, it's not self-defense is not described in the same way there as it would be here. So you're not going to have something that would be categorized as something possibly to maybe push back against a group of people who control the government that want to storm into your house because you're a white person and drag your family out in the streets and pop them off.
Well,
It's not the same thing.
No.
It's much like the UK, which of course is where they got a lot of their laws from. You can have a hunting rifle in the UK, that's great, right? You can have a high caliber hunting rifle. You could turn it on one person, but all of a sudden you're like, and all of a sudden you're that's kind of it. Like you're gonna get through that action and you're probably done. You're getting smoked.
So they can only own one handgun for self-defense, it says.
What
It's
I'm not
inevitable.
saying about them standing up to the military and stuff like that. I'm just saying that he's if he has this idea that somehow he's just gonna run through, kill all the white people, and have his little perfect ethno state, they'll fight back, and a lot of your people will die too. Not to mention what will happen, the negative consequences. Right now, South Africa is actually pretty, as far as African countries go, pretty successful. If you do that, you're going to get the international community going against you. They would have to. It's genocide. It's murder of some people for their skin color. You would lose a lot of connections, a lot of people doing trade with you. Not to mention, they've had people who said they'll take all the white farmers and stuff in. I think it was Australia, I believe, is one. Either that or Germany. One of them said they would take in all the white farmers, they call them the Boers, from South Africa. Well, I guarantee you, the second that happens, that they're going to become a failed state, because the same thing happened. I believe I can't remember if it was what country was it. Was one of the countries close to them. It wasn't Nambia. Was it Botswana? Anyway, they did the same thing. They took all the farmland from the white farmers and they gave it to the black families. And guess what happened? Their whole entire agricultural industry,
Infrastructure.
because none of them knew how to fucking farm the land. None of them knew how to grow shit on there. And so into a huge crisis over food. They didn't have enough food to feed their people because of that. So you think they would learn from that, but unfortunately, people are retarded, especially people, in South Africa, I guess.
Yep.
And they're not learning their lesson. And so,
Well, yeah, and I mean, South Africa's got a long history of like ugly shit happening between the whites and the blacks.
oh
You
yeah,
know, like they're the reason we have the term apartheid.
yeah,
You know,
Yep.
for example, when Mandela was freed and came out as like the new leader and all that stuff, they didn't end apartheid; they just swapped it.
yeah.
So
it-
like they're stable for the most part right now, especially by sub-Saharan African standards. But that's not that's not a guarantee going forward. And with hotheads like Malema coming in and riling people up and all that stuff. Yeah, you're right. There will be losses on both sides. But you gotta keep in mind, man, the Afrikaans are outnumbered like 5-1.
Yeah. And Nelson Mandela, everyone, who free Nelson Mandela, all that kind of, he was actually a pretty bad dude. He freaking put tires around people and set them on fire. He was not a good
Yeah.
guy.
No.
Also, it's pretty funny that they're the way they're going with this, because like you said, apartheid happened. That was awful. They got a bunch of shit for that, and now they're being affected essentially by this woke ideal of the colonizers and stuff, and that's essentially why this is happening. You hear like a lot of the leaders in that movement, they're speaking exactly what you hear on college campuses. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, and on top of it too, this nonsense, it doesn't work for anybody, right? The whole fact that like, well, we've been treated this way, so all of a sudden we're going to start treating people this way, like going, congratulations, man, like that's worked for thousands of years, right? Just because you felt that you guys were wronged, and I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
So, but to swing the pendulum, that's not right either. Like going, maybe just try to live in peace. Maybe try to have a country that you would be proud of. Rebuild. The British, the Spaniards, they conquered a whole lot of the world. They did. Hey, Paul. Also, Power Couch Nation.
Did you just make the commie fist?
Yeah, actually, I like to do that now because because it actually kind of pisses off the other people. I mean, how would you make a fist like with a couch? Like, I don't.
Well, now you're just throwing gang signs.
Yeah, what's that about, dude?
Ryan's going throwing gang signs on stream.
What's side?
Either that or he's got palsy. He's got cerebral palsy going on.
Sorry. God, I remember when that was the thing in high school. Not high school. It was elementary school. What side was the thing in elementary school when I was there? Of course, we were a bunch of white kids in a small town.
I think I was in.
It was a bunch of
high
white
school.
kids in a. Yeah, it was gay.
What's I?
Oh my god.
No, I never. I was a stoner. I was
thing.
not.
It was a small town Colorado thing. We were trying to be cool because we had heard about it. Of course, about actual gangs on the western side.
Let me put it this way. So we had actual gangs on the I-25 corridor, but they were all like the Muppet Baby versions of the big gangs, right? So we had where I grew up at. We had Grape Street and Cherry Boys, both of whom were associated with the actual Crips and the Bloods, but were mostly just knocking over candy stores and shit.
Denver, as far as I understand, had the Crips and the Bloods, but here in the lovely let's say Western Slope, not so much. Just a bunch of kids being stupid. That's all it was. And it hasn't really changed
as it
much.
turns out, just buttoning the top button of your flannel doesn't keep you that warm.
Yeah. I actually had friends here recently, and I took them around about 3/4 of where I live, and I was like, "You saw about 3/4 of the town." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." We went to the ghetto Walmart, quote ghetto. They didn't have the scrubs that a certain person needed for their nursing exam, so we went to the new Walmart, which was 10 minutes away. They did have them, and then we turned around and we went. I was like, "Oh look, I'll drive you by my high school." And we drove past where the Airbnb was, and it was like they were like, "That's it?" I'm like, "It's about 3/4 it." They're like, "Wow." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's the widest
yeah."
way to say ghetto.
Mhm.
Real quick, Zilich makes a point earlier about the apartheid thing. When I was an apprentice, one of my old bosses told me 2 wrongs don't make a right. That is 100% true, and I do believe there is a
1000%.
very old adage. I forget where it was said, but a man who is set on revenge should prepare to dig 2 graves.
That yeah,
I was told that as a
like,
child. The 2 wrongs
Yeah.
don't make a right. Like, I didn't.
yeah.
It's basic shit.
That's what your parents told you when like your sibling fucking like, hit you and then you hit him back and then you get yelled at. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You mean okay.
Yeah.
No, it's the apartheid thing, like I said, that was completely awful, but it's a lot of these people, like I said, it's kind of like the Native Americans here, right? They'll sit there and say this is our native land, and that's what they're calling for. Is they're saying these white farmers are farming on our native land. Actually, it's not. It was a one
See you later,
tribe
Pete.
that they actually were dealing with, and they actually bought the vast majority of that land. So they actually own it. And the black people who the majority, I think it's like 92% of the black people in South Africa are actually a tribe that stole the land from the tribe that they purchased it from. So it's not even like their land to begin with. They conquered it. So their whole argument is full of shit that somehow this is our ancestry, this is our land because we're black skinned. That's so fucking retarded. It's not your land. It's actually the people you killed and kicked off of this land, if you're going by that argument. And 2,
Yep.
like I said, a shit ton of the land that is farmed by white farmers was actually purchased a long time back. I think it was it Germans who were the ones who settled it? They came there and they were trying to get away from a religious type thing.
Dutch, I think.
It was a Dutch, and
Yeah.
went there and ended up buying this massive chunks of land from this tribe because they weren't using it. They said, "Sure, you can own it. We don't care. Give us, whatever." And so
Yep.
but yeah, so their whole argument is somehow these white farmers came, kicked them off of their land, and now they're just taking their land back. Bullshit. Know your history.
Oh, and
Also,
here's the thing about Africa too, and this is going to sound fucked up, but it is absolutely true. If you were to take everybody who was not sub-Saharan black out of sub-Saharan Africa entirely, you know what would happen? The tribes would start fucking killing each other over ancient prejudices again.
Yep.
And
Ding,
in
ding,
some
ding,
places
ding, ding.
they're currently and still doing that. But like there are what 6 or 7 major tribes in Johannesburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not all friends. The only thing uniting them right now is their hatred of the whites.
Also,
That's it.
just on top of this, historically, it was not the white people who went and got the slaves and said, "I'm gonna just grab a couple, some black people and like bring them back and like let's go nuts," right? No, it was conquering tribes that actually sold
Well,
the
that was
losers
further north, but yeah.
into slavery. And again, it was just a different stop on the fucking boat. And that's what it was. And look, I'm not saying that like what the Spaniards or the English or anything like that did was right or moral or anything like that, but it started with a similar people, a people living on one continent, conquering the others, killing them, and then enslaving them and selling them.
Yeah. It's people not using common sense. Okay, so I sign on to work on a ship, be a sailor on this one of the slaving ships. I'm gonna take the multiple week trip across the ocean. Then when I get to Africa, I'm gonna then hike 3 or 4 weeks into the freaking dangerous ass bush to go get the slaves. No, they went there, they got to port, all the slaves were in cages by the whatever tribe was in charge and in power. And then I would say, okay, put 50 of them on my damn ship or 60 of them or whatever on the ship, and we're gonna take off. They didn't, but we were always told that no, they got nets and they trekked, like I said, 3 weeks into the bush and then kidnapped them and then walked them all. No, hell no,
Mm-mm.
that's not how it happened. Yeah, sorry, common sense.
But again, that
Not a
was
common virtue.
you're talking about
Yeah.
Barbary Coast and Ivory Coast slave trade and all that stuff, and that was considerably further north than South Africa, which has its own ugly history with the Dutch. But
Mhm.
yeah, generally speaking, Africa is a mess, and it always has been in one way or another. There are so many different tribal groups, right? And all of them have or can come up with a reason to hate everybody else and all that stuff. And by the way, it was the same shit with the Native Americans.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, I'm a member of the Oglala Lakota tribe, right? Which is one of the 6 Sioux nations.
Oklahoma, Lakota,
Historically, we do not get along with Northern Cheyenne,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
No,
personally, I have never met a Northern Cheyenne that I liked. They've all been bobbleheaded douchebags.
That's Sam's gang. Oblin Obli.
still
You know,
to this day, there are Native American tribes in this country that they don't mix and match because of their ancestral history. And this is one of those things too that it's like, well, the white man conquered all of them. It's like going, yeah, we did. Right?
Yeah.
We came in and we took something that was previously taken from somebody else, that was previously taken from somebody else, and previously taken from somebody else, and we can go back as far as you can think. And so it's like, what are you talking about? Humanity is survival of the fittest. It's the strong survive, right? Look, you're going to lose a lot of people along the way, but it doesn't.
Well,
Go ahead, Devils. Yeah.
I was gonna say this is I've talked about it before, how our pop culture dictates how we see things. It's the reason that people can believe that all cops are racist, because they've seen it in TV shows for so many years that it's actually tainted their what they perception is of reality. It's the same thing with the benevolent savage, right? These Indians they sat down around trees and were hippies essentially, till we came in and we brought slavery and rape and all these bad things to the shores of this peaceful people that never had done anything wrong. That's complete and utter bullshit. They were, like you said, they were slavers. They slaved each other. They killed each other,
Cannibals.
slaughtered each other, cannibals. They've
They
done a bunch of
scalped
bad
each
shit
other
way before we ever set
Scalped.
foot. And
that's hardly the worst thing they did to each other, Ryan.
Yeah, you're very right.
And I'm not saying that anything that happened was in any way, like, I'm not trying to justify it or anything. It's just, you have to tell history as how it is, and it seems like we don't do that no more. It's easier just to believe that the Indians were all like, hey, look, who are those? They're white. Let's go say hi. And we said, oh crap, brownies, let's kill them. Like, it's not exactly how history worked. And so yeah, I but it was that way over a lot of the world.
And if I'm being perfectly honest, the only reason I'm a member of the Oglala Lakota tribe is because my great grandmother got sold to my great grandfather. That's how that happened. He was a German immigrant, and he bought her for pennies. It's just the way it was.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I actually understand where you're coming from, dude, because my family comes from a Blackfoot Indian background. There was, and my uncle has been researching this, there was a unfavorable, let's say, union years ago the records, of course, at the time were minimal at best, but we're talking about scarce records, and it seems that the mother of my grandfather's lineage of Blackfoot Indian, because they had a child out of wedlock. Of course, they couldn't have actually at the time consensually marry. Look, and I'm not saying that's right either, but the majority of us in this country, as white quote white Americans, we're kind of a hodgepodge of ethnicities, because that's why America is called the melting pot, right? I'm English, Irish, Blackfoot, Indian, and Dutch. Like going, so there's a lot going around in there. So
Yeah,
it's
there
like
ain't no such thing as a pure blood American.
Yeah,
no,
there's
there's not.
across the whole world. There's very few. There's like probably a couple people who are like isolated on an island, but most of the world, if you look at people's blood, we are a mix of a shit ton of things. There is really no pure blood. I'm not pure blooded Irish. No, you're not. You probably have a bunch of other countries in your bloodline. Just yeah, it's how it is. I have a little bit of Creek. Creek Indian, a little, very small part. One of my ancestors snuck in a teepee or something.
Yeah, on my mother's side, there's 3 of the 5 civilized tribes from Oklahoma who only exist in Oklahoma because of the Trail of Tears. But if you go to Oklahoma today, everybody's got a little bit of a native. Everybody
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Also,
it's just it's a very mixed society.
yes, and that's what makes us the best, right? That's what the ideal was. And also on top of that, if I met a beautiful Native American girl tomorrow, do you think as a mostly white man, I'm gonna be like going, I don't want none of that because she's impure. Like, no, she's a beautiful woman and she has genetics that I minimally have, and we would have the best children. Like, what are you talking about? Also, personality, plays into it. But I'm just, this whole entire nonsense about genetics is just horseshit, because human beings are attracted to opposite genetics that make the family stronger. We are animals, and that's the way it is. Whether you want to acknowledge that, we're mammals, we're fierce, we do things that are kind of heinous. That's the way it is.
Mhm.
So
Over on the Rumble side, Sinillo brings up a point that I've made myself. The word slaves came from the word Slavs or Slavic people because Sinillo,
yep,
they were the most enslaved ethnic group in history. They still are. They were enslaved by everybody. They were enslaved by the Mongols. They were enslaved by the Persians. They were enslaved by the Arabs. They were enslaved by each other, by the Vikings. They got enslaved by literally everyone within reach. And I'm sure some of them got sold to Africa and were slaves there too. It is what it is. It's like Clue was saying in the chat earlier on the YouTube side. It was a slave trade, not a slave robbery. People were being traded back and forth all over the place, and the Slavs got the brunt of that shit, which is where the word comes from. Fun fact, actually, the word robot comes from a Czech word, Czechs being Slavs, meaning slave.
And then we're giving them too much power, and we're going to be the slaves. Yay!
Putting that out there. Oh yeah, no, I mean slaves revolt. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, I don't mind slaves revolting and taking power. That's fair. Turnaround's fair. I don't like 600 years later when ancestors are sitting there using that as some justification. You didn't really go through anything. No one ever put chains on you. I'm sorry.
Your ancestors went through shit and they fought their damnedest to get out of it.
Yeah, and they should be 100% honored for that and shit. But yeah, that's exactly it. Trying to sit there, if I think I think I had some Black Irish in me, I believe is what it's called, or something like that.
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
Pervert.
I had to.
See, the difference here is I said it in my head.
So since I have a little Irish in me, well, Irish were the first slaves in America, were the indentured servitude of the
Yep.
Irish.
That's my
So do I
ancestors.
get to bitch and complain because
No.
one of my
No, you
ancestors
don't.
might have fucking hell no. And the only reason, and a lot of it also was over like another thing that they kind of gloss over or changed revisionist history of it is they say, well, black slavery from Africa was because of racism. No, it wasn't. It was because black people actually were better at doing stuff than white people. They had all these Irishmen over here doing it, but they would die in the fields. They couldn't they couldn't be in the fields. They would just die and they'd throw their ass in a ditch. Black people were able to do that. That's the reason they actually, because it wasn't, they didn't go, oh, you know what, we can't enslave white people, let's go get some black people because they're, we hate them. No, it was just so. But that's another thing you don't hear about. You don't hear why it was actually, you just hear, oh, it's because of racism. No, racism actually came after when we started seeing it as lesser.
Yeah, let's touch on the fact here too that, like, when we say that we ended slavery, when Western nations ended slavery, right? It got ended in Haiti. It got ended by the
No,
by
it
the
didn't.
Brits. It got ended here. Well, it did. I didn't say it lasted, but
Well, I think you know where I'm going with the final
Yeah.
point on this one, but I'll.
But
My bad, dude.
but anyway, it was not ended worldwide. It was ended in the West. It was outlawed in the West. It was outlawed by white people first, and in a lot of places, it's still happening. In fact, there are more, and I'm not even including sex slaves, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not including sex slaves. That is a whole other thing.
Mhm.
But indentured servitude, chattel slavery, there are more chattel slaves alive today than there have been in the entire history of this fucking planet. Most of whom are in Africa and the Middle East.
From Google, there are 29.3 million slaves in Africa alone.
Mhm.
The largest concentration is in Africa alone. 29.3 million people who are still being beaten to do work.
And who's enslaving them?
Their fellow
Those white
Africans.
All those white South Africans, man.
See, and this is
Obviously.
something else that we have a big problem with in the West, particularly in the United States, is just because your skin is black does not mean you're the same as the guy next to you whose skin is also black. In Africa, they understand this. The Hutu is not the Tutsi.
Yep.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying what they do to each other is fucking cool at all. It's not. But
Nope.
just because your skin is a similar shade does not mean that you are in with those guys. And it's something that you get that often gets confused with white people too. It's like, oh, well, all white's this, all white's that. Obviously, you don't know fucking white people or white people's history, because nobody hates white people more than other fucking ethnicities of white people.
Yep.
Just look at all of the turmoil in Eastern Europe over the last 4,000 years.
Yeah. Look at what they call the
Look
English.
at Russia and Ukraine. Oh no, it's a bunch of
Yeah.
white people, but they hate
English-
each other.
The fucking English, the Welsh, the Irish, the Scots. That's one island. And how long have they been fucking at each other's throats?
It's a
Yeah.
small island on a world that's like this.
The English have these like bad words. I can't remember what the term is, but it essentially counts for like these three countries, and it's because they see them as lazy pieces of the dirt. Essentially, I can't remember what the term is, what they call them, but it's like these three countries. I think, is it Greece? Is it? There's a anyway. I hate when I forget those things, but yeah. And yeah, they're all white countries, but they have these negative names specifically for them because they don't like them. It doesn't matter that they're white. It matters that they think they're lazy.
You
Again,
mean the
also-
term pigs?
That's the one. Yeah.
Portuguese, Italian, Greek, and Spanish.
Yep.
Also, the best example is, Nazi Germany. Like, these are all, quote, mostly white people, right? 98%, 99%. The Jews were white people in that country, and they said, you know what? We're white, but you're not white enough, right? And it's not something that just white people do. It's something that everybody does on this planet does, like going, I don't understand why you do this. I don't understand your religion. I don't understand the fact that like you pray like this, you do things on the Sabbath, like that's what it is. Wholeheartedly. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't understand you, so you know what? I hate you.
Yep.
And that's what it was.
Getting back to the South Africa thing, say Malema gets what he wants, right? They get all the white people out. They get rid of the Boers and the farmers, and they get rid of all of the Afrikaans. You know, they just, you know, they either kill them all or they drive them all off, right?
Yep.
The next thing that's going to happen is that he's going to attack whoever comes from the most
Next on
hated
the
rival
list.
tribe.
Yep.
Skin color is not the issue. It's never been the issue.
No.
Well, the thing also is as far as infrastructure goes and stuff, South African is one of the most well, you know, put up countries. You know, they have big cities
Mhm.
and
It's a
ports and
popular
everything
travel
like that.
destination.
You know, what are they going to do when they chase off a large chunk of their population? They start to run
Not
out of
hunger.
food because they can't farm it. They run out of the stuff that they actually do trade with because, you know, what are they going to do when their whole thing collapses? Those cities are going to start falling apart. That's the thing with cities. Cities have to have constant upkeep or they start to crumble. What are they going to do when their whole infrastructure starts to fall to shit because they've chased off a lot of the people in their own country and kind of, you know, put themselves in this awful situation? Who are they
Well,
going to blame then?
what's going to be not worse, like more to that point is I work in travel. One of the biggest industries in South Africa that's booming is tourism.
Yeah.
This guy gets friggin' elected and does what he is basically saying he wants to do. That shit stops and the money flow goes with it.
Mhm. And this is a problem with a lot of this stuff is that they don't think that far ahead.
Yep.
You know, they're like, oh well, you know, it'll work itself out. It's like, no, dude, it doesn't just work itself out. These economic systems are in place. They have been built by people who understood better how the ebb and flow of money works. You know.
Yep.
Real quick over on the Rumble side, Sanella says also here in Austria we had a little something called
Liebegainer?
Liebegainer. Yeah,
Something like that.
I'm terrible with fucking German, which means person who is property. We had this until the 1900s. Last contracts ended close before World War One. It also says they have a word for lazy foreigners. It's Kanak. That sounds an awful lot like Canuck, which is a word that we used for Canadians.
Fucking Canucks. I'm just talking hockey with my derision for the term. Hate the Canucks. Hate the Habs too. And the Leafs. I hate all the Canadian teams.
Okay. Only team I hate is from fucking Detroit.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Fuck the Red Wings. Fuck them so hard.
I enjoy watching that fight though, where can't remember the goalies, but the entire bench was fighting each other, and then the goalies threw down on the ice. Good times hockey back in the day.
Patrick Waugh was still the Avs goalie at that point. It was either him or Ray Bourque. I forget which. No, Ray Bourque wasn't the goalie. I don't know.
Yeah, it was before my time
Obviously,
watching hockey.
Yeah, I watched it back in the day, but obviously my memory for sports is fantastic. You know? I don't know. Not a sports guy. I like blood sports, but I don't like it enough to memorize people's names. I just like watching people beat the shit out of each other in a cage. It is what it is.
I'm not that. I used to watch sports more than I do, do now. I'm just not that big into it. I used to watch football and basketball, but now I don't really anymore.
All of it's gone downhill since like
Yeah,
the aughts.
the Kings, the owners of the Sacramento Kings, became a bag of bitches and started complaining that you're not giving us enough money. You should pay for our fucking, stadium for our team that we're gonna make money off them. After that, I was like, fuck you guys. Not to mention they lost all their good players. And then the 49ers ever since in that bullshit, I was like, fuck that. So now, yeah, I just don't really have a team. So,
Well,
Sorry, I did not mean to sports talk distract.
no, you
I
did.
just hear Canucks
did.
and I get triggered.
Yeah, you know, it's not just a team, right? It's a derogatory term for
Yes.
Canadians.
Absolutely. But it's not my reference to it.
No. Sanella says that Kanak, which is Canak, is literally the N word here in Austria. Huh. Well, if y'all are listening to us over in Austria,
Our bad.
sorry I said Kanak so much.
Connect.
do you use it in rap songs? Call each other
Word
connect, but you can't call us connect.
My Kanak.
It's our word. You got a
It
problem?
sounds a little
Connect?
bit like if the word is for lazy foreigners, it sounds a little bit like it's got probably a similar origin to the Japanese gaijin,
Yeah.
most likely, which literally means foreign devil.
Yep.
So it'd be you, devil, specifically.
Yep. I'm the perfect gaijin, I guess.
Demonetized. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We're not monetized, so fuck it.
Yeah.
So, and we may
Yeah.
never be. Like, I'm getting to a point now where, in order for partial monetization, right, I still need another, a little less than 250, subscribers on YouTube. But we've got the watch hours, we've got the uploads, and all of that stuff. We've had that for a while. Actually, pretty close to full monetization watch hours. But I also have a channel strike that's still active for another like 2 months. So it's
Yeah. Let's be honest. If YouTube, they don't care how many views. If you had over 2 million people watching this stream right now, they wouldn't give you a damn penny. And even if you'll get the monetization where you can get super chats. They'll I think that's like pretty much auto, right? Second you get the qualifications, but actually getting monetized,
well,
I
no,
think
you
they would
still
try
have
to
to
hold it
apply
up
for
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, for partial, for like super chats, memberships, all that stuff. That's partial monetization. You can get that. You don't have to activate that. It's not automatic. You do have to apply for that and get it all.
I thought that
done.
that one they just you could automatically have it the second you cross the threshold. It's the 1,000 followers for actual ad revenue that you had to apply for and get
No,
permission.
you have to
had to
apply for
apply.
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Amira she already meets all the qualifications to get partial monetization. She's pretty goddamn close to full monetization, but she doesn't want to, so she hasn't applied for any of it. So she's still unmonetized. But yeah, she's got something like 800 and some odd subscribers. Almost 1 million views. She's got like 40,000 watch hours.
It looks like me and Sam are gonna have to keep working at the strip club for a while more.
I mean, the bitches love the tentacles. I don't know what to say.
Yep.
There's a reason for hentai.
They throw that down.
Yep. I come out and rip away pants to say I was born horny.
Dude, did you ever watch Metalocalypse?
No.
Okay, so it's about a fictional metal band. They put out like real albums and stuff too, which is hilarious. But there is an episode where one of the band members gets this like diamond encrusted horn-shaped codpiece, right? Because they're the greatest death metal band in the world, and he's wearing that around. And at one point, a guy is trying to assassinate them. He's disguised as one of their groupies or whatever, and he trips over some of the cords laying off stage, and he ends up impaling his face on the guy's codpiece.
Oh man.
It's just like the horn cuts out the back of his. Anyway, that's what I was thinking of when you said that you were born horny with the tearaway pants.
Died horny, born horny.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a correlation.
if I ever became big enough that I actually got a merch line, that's where it would be. I'd probably put a lot of horny shirts and horny pants and horny all that shit.
Yeah.
Horny hats.
There was a lot of like sudden horrific death on that show.
The way I want to go.
Oh no, definitely not. You wouldn't want a horn-shaped diamond encrusted codpiece going through your melon.
No, yeah, I think that would be awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny though. People will talk about anime and cartoons and stuff like that I've never heard of or never seen, and everybody's like, discussing them, and I'm just totally lost. And of course, I mentioned something that I used to watch, and nobody has any fucking idea what I'm talking about either.
You're in your own world, Sam. It's okay. Hey, we like similar video games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, I guess to kind of bring the topic to a close is that this whole thing is fucking retarded, right?
Yeah.
What's happening in South
Yes.
Africa, and it's the same shit that we're seeing in other places in the world. It doesn't get covered as much elsewhere, but there's some ugly shit that happens with the Punjabs and some of the Northern Indians and the Pakistanis. It's along those lines. There's some really ugly fucking ethnic shit in Central and South America. This shit happens all over the fucking place. It doesn't usually see this level of engagement and coverage because it normally, most of the time, at least since the fucking 40s, doesn't generally involve world leaders announcing their intention to fucking do it. Or potential world leaders. I don't think he's not elected yet, but it is a very good chance he will be. And when that happens, I don't know. If you're white in South Africa, I know it's your home too. You were born there, and but I mean, it might be a good time to get the fuck out.
Yep.
Honestly,
Take a trip, visit some family elsewhere for a while.
I hope it doesn't come to that. I really do, because like the last thing this world needs is more people just offing each other for petty disagreements.
Right.
We got enough of that shit going on right now. Like, not to get too deep into this, but like, the Middle East right now, in specifically the Western part of the Middle East, right? I kind of don't care who wins at this point. I really don't. Y'all have been trying to wipe each other out fucking ever.
Right.
And,
like, we clearly can't influence any peace between it. So
it's like, if you really wanted peace, you'd put your guns down, both sides.
Yep.
I don't believe that either side ever wanted peace.
Not legitimately, nope.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the civilians did, but their leaders never have.
There's not an ounce of sand in that freaking part of the world that isn't soaked in blood. They've been fighting for thousands of years. They'll continue to fight till the end of time.
I'm convinced that the entire region is cursed, honestly, because it doesn't seem to matter who you are. I mean, when the Europeans went and tried to take Jerusalem during the Crusades, right? And they did call it defensive action. What did they get for that? But a couple of 100 years of misery and bloodshed.
Yep.
What has ever come out of that region for the Arabs, for the Jews, for the Persians, for the Africans, the North Africans, all of those people. It's just been suffering there for 5,000 fucking years for everybody. And honestly, I don't blame them for wanting to get out. But here's the thing: like California, you really want to get away from that shit, you got to leave it behind.
Yeah.
You can't just take it with you to wherever you're going. You know, so that's my thoughts on that. Once again, here we are, sad.
Nice and depressing, just like every Saturday.
Yeah. Hey, it's what I do, baby. Yeah. Yeah, Squanch, yeah. Hates it in the water there like fluoride's in the water here.
Fucking fluoride.
I was like, they put something in the water there that stirs people up. Over
should
here,
probably
it just
change
makes
that
you
to-
stupid and pliable.
Should probably change that to estrogen now. All the women on birth control.
Right. Well, and the dudes now on also birth control because
Well,
they're lapping it up.
that's a result of the 70s when they started pushing birth control on women, and it just gets pissed out into the water supply.
Yeah.
For
You'd think it
theories,
would get
I
filled.
Yeah,
want that
you
one.
women stop peeing.
No,
Yeah.
stop being on birth
Knock
control.
it off. Just stick a cork in it or something. Yeah. Power World is taking over for sure. Power World is so fucking gay. Oh, we're Ryan dipped. Okay.
Thank
well,
you,
maybe
Sam.
he'll be back.
Thank you.
I didn't have anything to do with that. He's
No.
gone.
I'm talking about the Power
No,
World is
Power
gay
World.
comment.
Oh no, it's totally gay. Yeah. Yeah, it's Pokemon, but for
With
fucking
guns.
rednecks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. You know, she'll be sitting on the couch watching her favorite football team. I'll be behind her playing Power World, and she's all, give me a beer, sweetie, while you're up. Well, okay,
Hmm.
it's kind of.
I love these stories.
Right. Speaking of goofy shit, I do have something here that is a bit of a palate cleanser. It's a bit funny. I'm sure some of you guys have already seen this. And for those who aren't aware, there is a race going on between two of the YouTubers in the entertainment sphere. Dan Vask, who sings and makes music, and Nerdrotic, who does not make music.
Makes nerd video.
There's a race to 1 million subscribers. They're both getting pretty goddamn close.
Yep. It's been
And-
fun to watch.
Yeah. So if Dan wins, Nerdrotic has to sing Bon Jovi, which he hates. So I'm kind of pulling for Dan myself because I really want to see Gary sing Bon Jovi. I think that'd be fucking hilarious, like with the wig and everything. But if Nerdrotic wins, then Dan has to sing a song that Gary writes about man buns being gay, which is also hysterical, and I would love
I
to
know
see.
what you're doing.
So in the course of this, Dan posted a song that he wrote for his, as he calls it, his best friend, Nerdrotic, a choir piece. You know where I'm going with this?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's good.
Have you guys
So
seen
good.
this? Yeah. So for those of you in the chat, if you haven't seen this, this is hysterical. And Dan, don't come after me for this.
It's only the last note that sounds like gay to me.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Like the
It's all synthesized too. So
yeah, it's because I didn't see the post when they I think it was on the Real BBC they played it. So I didn't know that in like the tweet itself it said that it says it's Gary is gay. And I was like, I don't understand a single thing that says. So it was
Harry
interesting.
is hey. That's
Well,
what
like it sounds like gray
Hey.
or brave. It was very
No, I thought I love his Amazing Grace. That is such a good
Yes.
freaking track from him. I didn't like the freaking My Heart Will Go On. I was kind of like, that'll be interesting to hear that in fucking rock. Didn't end up liking it.
I thought you were going to say the My Heart Will Go On. I hate the original song. I appreciated it more in metal rock version. So
I
he just-
I gotta commend Dan for his strategicness with that. I
Yep.
mean, he drops the anthem from one of the sappiest chick flicks ever fucking made a week before fucking Valentine's Day, and he does
Yep.
it in metal with his hair and his voice. Like panties are dropping. They
Did
just
you
are.
did you see what I tweeted out for that?
I don't think I did. No.
Because I was like, when at like 44 seconds in, when Dan gives the side eye to the camera, I feel it in my soul that he's looking and laughing at Gary because he knows the demographic of the subs that he's about to get for this song. That's essentially what I said. Because like he gives that side eye to the camera with a little smirk, and I'm like, that's not for the women, that's for Gary.
Yeah.
all I
Well,
could
did you
think.
see Gary's response to him dropping that video? He said one word, all caps. Fuck.
Gay. Oh.
You
Because he
know,
understands exactly what happened.
Yeah.
if you like metal covers of awkward songs that you wouldn't normally hear in metal, there's a guy called Leo. I can't remember his name.
Is he the one with the
Oh,
cat?
Mark Killy. He's the
Yeah,
Norwegian
Frog
guy.
Leap
Yeah.
Studios.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does covers of some crazy songs in metal, and they all sound fucking amazing. The one for Africa is fucking
Baby Shark.
fantastic. Yeah, he did
Ew.
Baby Shark. He's
that
done
song.
so many, but like 500, I think, at this point, or thereabouts covers, and they're all pretty damn good. He's really good about turning the metal.
Ever since he got divorced, there's been kind of a nasty edge to it. But prior to that, yeah, he was really really excellent. My youngest loves his cover of "I Believe I Can Fly" by R. Kelly.
Mm.
That poor song. I used to love that song.
I've got video of her singing along to it, and like zooming around the room like she's flying.
Anytime I watch Space Jam and that song comes up, I'm just like, I'm really sad.
I believe I can pee on a girl in a closet.
Oh God.
So yeah, no, I'm excited to see how this turns out because they're both within reasonable amounts of like anything could put one over the other, and they're both so close to 1 million that it's
Yeah.
anybody's game.
UA put it in chat. Gary needs
Mhm.
30,000 and Dan needs 43.
Yeah, but I mean, given the level of subs that we're talking about, like those are both easily doable. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
again, anybody's game. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with Dan dropping songs, because you never know which song's gonna hit and like take off.
The man
So-
definitely should have listened to Geeks and Gamers people. Like he should have made a Peaches song, and then he should have made that stupid "I'm Ken" or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called.
Oh yeah. If he did the Ken song, you know that it would get viral and
Yes.
people would be putting it up.
Like I found Dan before I found the Fellowship. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was right around the same time, but because of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher.
Yeah,
song?
I hate that fucking song. But yes, it did.
You
it did
hate
very
that
well for him.
song?
I hate The Witcher, first of all. And so, yes, I do hate that song because I've heard that song in about 8 different languages. I hate that song like I hate Let It Go from Frozen
I fucking hate that song. I hate that
because it
movie.
got fucking overplayed and overplayed and overplayed and redone and redone and redone. And I will admit that Dan's is one of the best versions out there. But I still
It's the
hate
only
the
one I
fucking.
listen to.
She's a hoe. She's a hoe.
That movie pisses me off. I hate it so much.
Oh, Paul, how close are you to 200? I haven't
Devil
looked.
needs 2.
Yeah,
I need 2.
he's gotten a couple
Yeah.
in. Yeah, you've gotten a couple during this stream.
Yep.
What?
Mhm.
For real?
Yeah,
Holy
Beak was
crap.
one of them. He was 197, he said.
Jesus.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
changed since
Thank
I
you.
got it.
Whoever subscribed, thank you.
oh, you're already there. Well, you can't challenge him to a race if you're already there.
Screw
Yeah.
you, Paul.
I win.
That's some bullshit.
uh
Punk.
yeah. clues at 344. I mean, we crossed over to I think we're currently at 256 on this channel, which I'm pretty happy about.
I'm not gonna say mine.
Fucking took forever to get here, but here we are. You know, 204. He was trying to cheat. Yeah, of course you were.
No, you were cheating. There was no trying. You cheater.
No, it's one of those things though, man. Like I know whoever wins this bet between Gary and Dan is going to be happy for the other guy. They're going to be grudging
Yes.
about the price they have to
Mhm.
pay for that. Sure,
Yep.
but they're going to be happy for the other guy because that's how it should be. You know, like our pal Horny Alf, for example, right, is up over actually he's up over 300 now, isn't he?
300 now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy as shit for him. I hope he continues to fucking soar like that.
Oh yeah. I don't begrudge anyone else their success. I want
Mhm.
everyone to be as successful as possible. I don't care if you put out one video and for every 400 I put out, it wouldn't matter. Long as you
Mhm.
win. But,
Yeah.
like Green. She puts out one video and she gets like 40,000 people following her.
That's not true.
Just because I don't look
Well,
as good in a bikini, damn it.
she's got vagina privilege.
No, I have Yaira privilege. That is where it all is from.
Oh,
I made that
now we know,
cosplay.
Sam. Next week, we're gonna dress up like Yaira.
You know what? Actually, I already have an image of Yaira with my head on it that I sent the gal. She was covered for me on Engage the other week. Which, by the way, thank you for using that. I appreciate that.
Of course, I was going to use that. Are you kidding me? That was awesome.
I can't believe it turned out as well as it did. I only spent like 30 seconds making that.
Well, and it was pretty. Like the color scheme goes really well with it too. So
Yeah.
it's great.
No, it's good. It's a good image. But so I mean, I guess in a way, I kind of have cosplayed already as Yaira.
Yeah, that's true. Valid.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'm trying to get somewhat of a devil outfit kind of idea for Vegas.
So you can
I'm
do
not
an
gonna dress up
actual
like in
video.
a full costume or anything like that. I'm not, but I'm gonna try to do some horn thing.
Like a head cover
where-
thing.
Yeah.
Devil Sonillo over on Rumble says now Devil only needs one. I'm 199. Thank you,
Oh,
buddy.
That's
nice.
awesome.
Thank you.
It's awesome that you're 199 as well.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if Sonilla
that's-
knows
that's
that,
pretty-
but
I do actually pay attention to some stuff with the bigger creators, just not a lot anymore. You know?
it's kind of hard to avoid the 199 in this space.
Right. I even know the lore behind it, you know, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it is one of those things though. Like you get to a point where you get so much more involved in your specific like circle of people that you stream with and that you
Yeah.
you know, you do stuff with that you kind of fall off the I guess the fandom bandwagon a little bit. You know, it's not that I don't I still like Az and Gary and Geeks and Gamers and all that stuff, but I don't have a lot of time to watch them because I'm watching you guys.
Yeah. Well, not me.
You know,
Devil.
Oh, UA. Congratulations.
Thank you.
UA, you're badass.
Now it's set in stone. I have to do a face reveal.
It's official.
Yep.
Yeah. Congratulations on
Thank you
200.
guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I really do, guys. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Good
been
deal,
watching
good deal.
that.
Yeah, even some of the chat here knows the 199.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do pay attention to some stuff, but not a lot. And actually, lately it seems like there's been more like high school fucking
Mm-hmm.
drama than anything else. So I'm just like, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
It's not something
Some of
that I
it's
care
hard to
about. I think
avoid. Except
I-
for I'm just gonna stay
Yeah.
off my phone now.
some of it is hard to avoid, and because I follow all of these people on Twitter,
Mhm.
like I get the download right in my face every time I open my fucking phone, and it's just like, all right, this is something that I absolutely don't care about. I'm gonna, go do something else now. It helps to keep me off Twitter, though. I will say that
Yep.
because I do spend entirely too much fucking time on that app.
Yeah.
Poking fun at the POTUS, among other things.
Melee, my waifu. Hello.
Howdy, howdy. Good to see you. So
Hey, Melee.
yeah, it is what it is. Like I don't watch the real BBC anymore because I've got other stuff that I need to listen to during the week. You know,
Yeah.
I don't. I watched part of FNT this week, but mostly because Dean Cain was on.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember the last time I watched Tuesday night's main event. To be honest with you.
Yeah. The time isn't helpful because it's like right when I'll be making dinner and my phone is dying from the day. So I just don't feel like putting it on the TV either. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
it's just
someone on it that pushed me away from it for a while.
Is it a certain fan of Tomb Raider?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a certain fan of Tomb Raider. That's fine. Like I stopped following her work too.
Yeah.
She kind of got to a point where I was just no longer on board with what she was saying. So I went another way. I wish her all the luck in the world, and I hope she does well.
how I
But
feel.
I don't have to listen to her shit either.
Yeah, it's I'm the same way. It's one thing to say certain words for, be a little edgy or to try to, but when you say it every single freaking day, it becomes cringe. It's just cringe. You're doing it and people aren't even paying attention no more.
And like I found it hilarious for a while.
Yeah.
And then when other people would say it and get locked out of their accounts or reprimanded by Twitter for it, that also started pissing me off. Not her fault.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those guys who's like so for context, we kind of dancing around it a little bit here because I don't want to be, like rude, and I don't want people going over there and like giving her shit or anything like that. But
yeah.
So Melanie Mack has really leaned into this hyper Christian thing, and she gets a lot of shit from people who are like, well, if you're so Christian, why are you wearing tank tops? Why do you have tattoos? Why aren't you married at 36 with like a litter of kids or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you realize, guys, when you do that shit, you're doing the exact same thing to her that she is doing to those of us who do not believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same hypocritical shit.
Yeah.
So it's fine if that's the way you feel and all that shit. But that's part of the other reason I stopped following her on Twitter is not just because of what she was saying, but because of some of the ugly shit that was being said to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
So,
and it's from people that are supposedly on the same side if you choose sides.
Yeah. So like take Lady Gravemaster, for example. Lady Gravemaster is a pretty devout Catholic.
Yep.
Right. I have all kinds of problems with her religion. All kinds of problems with her religion. But I can have a conversation with Lady Gravemaster without either one of us accusing the other of fucking horrific shit.
Yep.
Yep. Without calling each other names. When she starts talking about the religious thing, right? When she leans hard into that, and she does, I just don't engage with those tweets because I like her.
Right.
We get along, and I would like to continue to get along. So I just don't say anything that comes to mind because it wouldn't be productive in any way.
Yep.
Because otherwise, outside of the religious thing, her and I agree on quite a bit.
Yeah.
I just don't do religion because I find it all hypocritical.
Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of it.
Yeah. So it's fine to wear it on your sleeve, and I understand that one of the big commandments from the Christian God is to proclaim your faith, right? And it is to go around and tell everybody, hey, this is the way and all that stuff. I get that that's like what you're called to do. I just don't have to listen to it.
Yep.
Yeah. The only part of it that I'm a fan of is the morals that come with it, the sense of community comes with it. I think that's a good thing, having a group that you can count on, that is almost an extended family. It helps people, helps their community, charity, all those good things of religion are amazing. But I hate the negatives that
Yep.
unfortunately come with mass religion a lot of times.
Like, I was raised Mormon. They're one of the best religions for that community you're talking about. Like, Mormons are all about the community. They take care of each other. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, I only know that side because I wasn't in any other religion. So I guess I shouldn't say they're the best at it. It's just they took care of
No,
our
but
family when we needed
it's
it.
central to their
Yeah.
core beliefs too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, where I grew up, we had a Mormon kind of, I don't know what you would call it,
Ward.
like there was a large contingent, and they were always saying how if you don't show up for church, they'll show up at your fucking work and say, "Where were you? Are you okay?" and stuff. It's like I'm all like, yeah, that wouldn't fly with me. Lock the
well,
damn door.
It's not
yeah, I
that
can.
bad.
It's
It's a different
really
thing.
not quite as bad, but they, like if you've been missed at more than a few meetings, they will check to make sure that you're not dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, they're wanting to make sure truly that you're okay, not to be like, come to church. Why didn't you go to church? No, it's more, is everything okay? Is there anything we can help you with? That type of stuff. So,
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of stuff about that particular religion that gets blown out of proportion because people don't ask Mormons about it. They just ask other people who are not Mormon about it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's just,
Yeah.
I get a little defensive over some things because I'm just like, you don't know shit about the religion. Stop like making fun of it over bullshit. Like,
there's several things I'll stand up and say. Like, I find myself more and more on Twitter, especially online in general, which is really fucking weird, by the way. The defending Christians,
yeah.
defending Jews, defending Muslims, defending Abrahamics in general from atheists and other pagans and just general people who are looking to tear other people down and all that stuff. I find myself defending them even though I do not share their fucking beliefs. Because it's like look, if you're gonna go after somebody, at least have your facts straight, man.
Exactly. That's
there's plenty of shit to pick on, right? In all of those groups, there's plenty of shit to go after that is nefarious or shady or fucked up, right? But they always pick the most innocuous stuff and blow it way out of proportion, and usually it's attached to a pack of lies that they've just been told.
Yep.
and
Mormons can't
it's
have
just-
caffeine, yet they own
Andy-
stock in the Pepsi company.
Here's and that's one of the things that's blown out of proportion. The word of wisdom, which is the Mormon thing, is not a rule set. It's a guideline.
Yeah.
It is a, hey, this stuff's not good for you. Maybe don't put it in your body.
Yep.
It also doesn't. They're like, well, why does it say caffeine on there? If, caffeine's a drug, and all this stuff. I was like, well, it doesn't explicitly say don't ingest cyanide because it's implicitly understood that is bad for you. But it's implied. Don't ingest cyanide.
Yeah.
And Andy Pickle, you guys should not pray for me. I don't want the big guy to know where the hell I am. I like to stay invisible because if he finds out I'm out of my cage, he gets pissed. A little temperamental about that. But
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, it's just one of those things though. But like there's so many misconceptions about it. Every denomination out there. Like, one of the things that I hear often from like non-denominational or like Protestant Christians is that Catholics and Mormons are not Christian, which is at the very basic level a totally inaccurate statement.
Yep.
Right? Because if you boil it down to brass tacks, right? What is a Christian? A Christian is somebody who believes that Jesus Christ died on the cross for their sins and rose again. Right?
Yes. Yep.
They believe that. It's
Both
core to their
believe it.
beliefs.
Yep.
It's like, to do what Jesus said and not what we want, kind of thing. Like to like all the basic tenets are there. They do go off in a weed somewhere, but I know people who think that Seventh-day Adventists are more Christian than fucking Mormons are, and those guys are weird.
I don't even know anything about them, but I know that they're weird. Yeah.
There's a lot of like washing of feet and blood symbology.
Yeah.
What about the ones that carry the snakes around?
Snake handlers.
Yeah,
yeah. Snake handlers are kind of weird too. But I get what they're doing, right? The whole snake handling thing is an expression of your faith, right? It's like God will protect me from this because I believe God will protect me from this and all that. And there's some showmanship to that, right? In a lot of cases, the snakes are defanged, right? Because sometimes they do bite. Occasionally they don't defang them. Usually these are younger preachers who handle these snakes, and bad things happen sometimes. It
Well,
does
yeah,
happen.
because that would suck if you're like, I'm picking up these snakes because God will protect me, and then they bite you, and you're all, God damn it, but it's okay because God won't let me die, and then he dies. You think the other ones would be like, man, Ted must have not believed enough. Here, give me those snakes. Like,
Well,
it's like,
and then
Right?
there's the other
Well, he was
side.
weak in his faith, and that's why he died.
yeah.
There's
Damn
like
it.
a story or a meme or something where like there's a flood going on in a city and someone's sitting on the roof of their house and someone with a boat comes by after they were like praying to God. That's
Hi, Lou.
hilarious. Hello, Lou. But they're praying for assistance from God, and then a boat comes by and he says, "No, I'm waiting for God to help me." And then it goes on and on and on until they die. And then when they get to the pearly gates, they ask God, "Why didn't you help me?" And he's like, "I sent you so
Multiple
many
boats.
people." Like, so there's like the total opposite where
Mhm.
it's like blind faith of
Yeah.
and it's not even really yeah, you know what I mean. Like it just
Well, it's so many of them are waiting for that literal burning bush, for
yes,
that pillar of fire, right?
Yep.
And it's just like,
the miracle.
if you read your Bibles, like most of the miracles that occur in there, while miraculous, are also subtle as shit.
Mhm.
You know, it's like you take the opportunities that come your way because you you know, it's just like, yeah, okay, here comes like you're saying, like hanging out on the roof while like, you know, the city's flooded and a guy comes along, he's like, hey, I got this boat, you want to ride? He's like, no, God will
in.
provide. It's like, well, how do you know it wasn't me?
Exactly.
You know?
Like or the helicopter that came by, like the search and rescue that came by. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So hold on a second. Andy Pickle says, let me give a different point. As preachy as some people get, no one is as adamant and vociferous as an atheist with their non-belief. They know for a fact that there isn't a creator.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's
There
true.
is-
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which is
unfortunate.
crazy to me because crazy is not the best word, but I just can't fathom that we just came from nothing. Like way back when the first atom just appeared. Like science can't even explain that.
Yeah, because it didn't happen.
Yeah. Like
I'm not saying necessarily there was a creator, but everything comes from something.
exactly.
You know, I mean, maybe there was, you know, let's look at the Marvel explanation, right? Galactus, for example, is the last survivor of the previous universe,
Mhm.
right? So when that universe
Came from
died,
somewhere.
it collapsed and then it exploded again and became the new universe that we currently reside in. And Galactus was the only thing that survived the last one, kind of thing. Like, I mean, even then, like, it didn't come from nothing. It came
Yeah.
from that which came before, which most likely came from something that came before that. You know,
Yeah.
no beginning, no end kind of thing, which I find frustrating
Mhm.
as a fairly logical person who wants to find that beginning and sees an end. I do find that frustrating. I think it's a very silly way to organize things,
Yeah.
personally. But you know, just
Hi,
like
Kay. Sorry.
yeah. See you later. Okay. Hear me out here for a second though. Terry Pratchett. So the late great Sir Terry Pratchett, author of the Discworld novels and many others besides, pointed this out in a book. I believe it was called Small Gods, which was about religion, by the way, and the stupidity of it and the wonder of it and all things in between. It was surprisingly open to the concept of it, given that it was penned by a very famous atheist. But anyhow, what he'd said in there was that all life is essentially a tube with extra bits stuck on. All life. Tree is a tube. Human beings are a tube. Worms are a tube. We're all tubes. Sometimes there's extra bits hanging off the ends or hanging off the sides. But yeah, essentially, yeah, things go in one end, they come out the other.
Because even
Yui.
rocks are technically that way.
And I started thinking about that, and I was like, God damn it, he's right. He's right. All life is a tube. And I was just like that. You know, if I was the big boy, if I had the big boy pants, right, I'd have come up with some other shapes.
Hmm.
I find that a little bit
Because like even
unimaginative.
molecules that make up any of the elements.
Yeah. So
That's annoying. I don't like it.
Yeah, we're getting kind of profound here. What the hell?
Sorry, guys. It's sometimes we wax philosophical as well as just
We-
with our usual idiotic punditry. I mean, yeah, they're short tubes, but yes, they're tubes
Right. That are connected.
with extra bits.
Yeah.
It's really only the middle bit that has to, survive. Actually, and
Mhm. Which in itself is a tube.
yeah, it's just like if you really think about it, like a dog is a tube, right? An elephant is a longer tube. Snakes are definitely tubes.
I didn't want to do the full circle thing here.
Yeah.
Full
But you get what I'm
circle.
saying.
Full of
You get what I'm
Yes.
saying. Like
Yes. Yes. Yes.
even trees are essentially a
Yeah.
tube that carries water and photosynthesis from one end to the other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
No,
need
so-
therapy after this. I'm just a tube, man.
Thanks,
I'll
Paul.
never be more than a tube.
Like Douglas Adams' parable, science proved the existence of God, and he disappeared in a puff of logic. Yeah, it's one of the goofier things he said. So yeah, I don't know. I always found that somewhat unimaginative. From if I were a creator,
Right.
I might have come up with some other kinds of geometries for beings.
Mhm.
And who knows? Maybe they are out there. Maybe it's just carbon-based life forms from this earth that are all tube-shaped.
Yeah,
You know.
that's one of the things I brought up when I got kicked out of the house. Why did you make
Why
everything
can't we
tube?
have a dodecahedron?
Yeah, he's all don't ask stupid shit in my house.
You look at you and you'd be like, and how would that work exactly?
Look at what Clue just said.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
Oh my god. I don't like that. No.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's it is what it is. I don't know. As far as like religious beliefs though, going back to like the Melanie Mac thing, for example, I've always kind of liked her personally. She seems like
Yeah.
a nice woman. She's obviously very easy on the eyes. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Oh, so you can say she's gorgeous, but if I
Yeah,
say
I'm a woman. Duh.
yeah. Oh, I ain't tied down. I can say it too. But like she at some point, and there was a lot of video game stuff. She used to talk a lot more about video games than she does
Yeah.
now.
yeah,
Right. And I agreed with a lot of what she was saying about that stuff. She was right. She was right about almost all of it. And at some point in the last year, she just kind of shifted to this,
Main focus of
get with God or you're a faggot thing, essentially.
yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that. The fact of the matter is that, and this is going to sound like fucking lefty speak, and I hate the fact that it does.
I
but
know.
there is more than one fucking point of view on the subject of religion and faith and creation.
Mhm.
There is more than one point of view. She does not know for a fact that hers is the correct one. That's what faith is,
Absolutely.
right? None of us know for a fact. We pick our path and we hope we're right. right?
Mhm.
But most of us don't go around outside of the Abrahamics and the Hindus occasionally telling other fucking religions, believe what we believe or we'll fuck you up.
Yep. Or
Wow.
you're gonna burn in hell.
And even if we don't fuck you up, our God certainly will in the end.
Mhm.
Well, I know the right religion, but I'm not allowed to tell you guys. It's just a guessing
You
game.
still
You
got
guys-
that over your head,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Don't worry
cast you
though.
out.
The worst thing that'll happen is you'll be spending time with me. So
There's worse things
Yeah.
in the world. It's warm down there, right?
yep. There's no snow in hell.
So
No snow.
CLS Studio, don't get it twisted here. I'm not saying that all Christians or all Muslims or all Jews go around telling people. Actually, Jews don't really do a lot of recruiting anyway, but
Yeah.
that they go around telling everybody that, do this or we'll fucking punish you. But historically, yeah, both of those religions have been very aggressive with their recruitment. And I'm not saying that every Christian or Muslim who comes along is like that. They're not. That's obviously they're not. There's a huge groups. I mean, there's something like 2 or 3 billion Muslims on this planet, right? That's a lot of Muslims.
Mhm.
Odds are that there are plenty of them who are just like regular people who, go to mosque. It's there'd have to be statistically. It's the only way it works. But okay,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. But yeah, that's always been a thing that has always bothered me about some of the bigger religions and how some of the bigger religions only got bigger because they conquered as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Clue.
was
Otherwise, they
specific
wouldn't.
Sorry.
Yeah. He's not going to tell you, Clue.
No.
It's part of being the devil.
Yeah.
He teases you with a little
It's-
bit and he'd be like, oh, there's a little taste, but you can't have more.
Yeah. You'd actually be surprised which one is. It's not one of the ones you think.
Yeah. Andy Pickle, no, I do not know Muhammad's name before he took the title. It's not something I've ever been interested. He's only mentioned like 4 times in the fucking Quran. So, which is hilarious because he's the guy they talk about the most when they speak about it. But yeah, he's only actually been mentioned like by name 4 different times. They mentioned Jesus like 6 times more than that. And I don't mean like 6 additional times. I mean like 36 times. Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that's always been something that's bugged me a little bit. And so when you get people like Melanie Mack who get on this, I don't know what to call it.
Lean into it too hard. Like
Yeah. That it's number one, honestly, you're not making your religion look that fucking attractive when you go around calling people names all the time. You're really not.
Yep.
You're probably driving people who might be interested away. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll come across somebody later who will, lead them back to the flock or whatever. That's possible, but you're not helping.
Yeah.
I learned it I learned it from a Queen song. The real name of or the name of Muhammad. Oh, okay. I you also learned that heaven is a half pipe from a song. So
okay. Another problem with a few religions is that we know the history of how they were formed. Like Mormons, how do you believe in what a random guy said after careful consideration? Or Scientology? Well, Scientology, I think, is a whole other category of bullshit.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that the guy who invented Scientology did so in order to get out of paying taxes. It's also why he lived on a boat in international waters. Had nothing to do with fucking religion. It just had to do with people giving him money and him not having to give the government their share. Essentially is what that comes down to. And then they got crazy and murderous and weird.
Yep.
But they're also hemorrhaging followers. That whole thing is falling apart as we speak. But as far as the Mormons go, yeah, I mean, I could ask the same thing about Jesus, man. Jesus has been dead a lot longer, and yeah, there are things written down and all that, but how do you know that the people who wrote those down were telling the truth or, understood what it was that they were witnessing enough to write it down, right?
Yeah.
It's a matter of faith.
Yep. Well, with the Book of Mormon, like the way the religion came to be was he didn't know what religion was the correct one. And he prayed and he prayed and he prayed, and it came to him. But I don't see the issue here with the 10 Commandments and any other miracle that's in the Bible. Why do you believe one over another?
Right. You know,
Like,
and
what is the
I don't,
difference?
I don't mean to sound antagonistic about this or anything like that. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on anybody's faith in particular. If you believe what
Yeah.
you believe,
Same.
I'm all for that. It's fine. With me, it's just like when you get right down to it, like even if all the prophets and the people who wrote the Bible down over the years and all of that stuff was written down exactly as it happened or whatever, and they were all telling the truth, how do you know that God was? How do you know that
Right.
God isn't the liar?
Right. And just manipulating the
Because he says so?
board, the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
And that's where it falls apart for me. Is not even so much that my lack of faith in human beings, but my lack of faith in gods. And
Yeah.
you know, and it isn't that I don't believe that gods exist. I do. I just don't believe they're honest or worthy. I think they're stronger than we are. I think they live longer than we do. I also think they're a bunch of opportunistic, lying assholes.
And I'm but one person trying to be a good person, and that's all I can do.
Yeah. But that's my belief. That's not necessarily something that, you know, I'm not asking you guys to believe that. I'm not asking
Right.
anybody out there in the ether listening to believe that. You don't have to. You know, you just laugh it off if you want. That it makes no never mind to me. It's just that's how I came to it.
Well, it's a worthy discussion to just have as a discussion, not a finger pointing session of
Right.
mine, not yours, yours type of
Right. You know,
situation.
and I don't know. I mean, I could absolutely be wrong, but again, that's where faith comes in.
Mhm.
You know. So well, I don't want to go full Catholic on you. I appreciate that. My father was a Catholic and I hated him.
My grandma was Catholic. I didn't hate her, but
No.
I didn't agree with things.
Yeah, and you know, and I don't know. I the fact of the matter is like regarding Jesus, regarding the Garden of Eden, regarding you know, even going to older religions, Pandora's box, you know, all of that stuff. I don't know that it isn't myth, but I also don't know that it is. I wasn't fucking there,
Exactly.
you know. So I'm here now. I was not there then. I don't know what happened then any more than anybody else does. We're all just kind of piecing together from what was left behind. And frankly, some of those civilizations were better leaving records behind than others.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
So that's the Aztecs, for example, were fastidious about their records. The problem is it was all done in pictoglyphs, which like you kind of
It's
need
not
context
helpful.
to read.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. So you know, or the Egyptians, same problem actually. They wrote on every surface they had.
Mhm.
You know, they wrote down everything that ever happened. We're still kind of working out translations because you know, Rosetta Stone aside, like some of that stuff, like, do you guys know who E.A. Budge was?
Mm.
It was an Egyptologist in the 1920s and 30s, and he was considered at the time the foremost authority on hieroglyphs. As it came out, he made a bunch of shit up. And most of his translations have been debunked. So we're kind of back to square one on some of this stuff.
Lovely.
Because nobody has written, or has read or written in that language for fucking
Since before
thousands of
then.
years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So it is what it is. Oh, where are we? We're talking about Joel Osteen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Osteen is Osteen is a prime example of somebody who takes advantage of people who want to believe in something.
Yep.
You know, that's it is unfortunate that people like him exist. You know, parasites, predators. It really is, because, you know, I guarantee most of his congregation, they went to his mega churches, they donated to his fucking funds, and
Mm-hmm.
they did so because they believed he was righteous and that he was right with God. You know, they believed him when he said he would help them find salvation. when all he did was find
Look them for everything they have.
4 or 5 massive homes and a bunch of boats and shit.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, and this is one of the reasons, and I've said this before on here, and I know Gal and Devil have heard me wax eloquently about this and at great length, whether they wanted to hear it or not. But that has been the biggest problem that I have had with Abrahamics in general, and Christians in particular, particularly Protestant Christians, is that there are so many different denominations all proclaiming to have the one way and the one light and the one truth, all based on the same basic stuff, right? But none of you can agree on anything or get along about anything, and it makes it very hard to take your religion seriously.
CLS brought up something. I personally, I do believe in something. I believe there is a higher power. I don't believe in the religions and the middleman because I find them all to be hypocrites. And that's not like, I'm not jumping down your throat. I just saw it. Like, I do believe, but it's specific to me because I don't trust easily.
Yeah, I think so. To be, let me put it this way, CLS. It's not that I don't believe that there's something out there. I just don't believe it's what we've been told it is. I think that if there is in fact a creator or a higher power, it's probably higher than any being that's come along and said it's God. As far as I'm concerned, they had to come from somewhere too.
Yeah.
So if there is in fact this overarching creative force out there, which is I'm entirely disposed to believe is absolutely possible. Number one, why wouldn't it continue to create if that is in essence what it is? I would imagine it would be out there still making shit. I would be if I were in that position.
Right.
And then again, I'm attacking this with my tiny mind. But I think that the truth of the matter is probably beyond us.
I wholeheartedly believe it is, not probably.
Yeah. It's most likely beyond our ability to grasp. And so we tell ourselves these stories, these things to kind of make it digestible.
Yeah.
I suppose is a way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a way to provide comfort
Mhm.
to ourselves and the ones we love.
Would you say that's accurate, Gal?
A deist, like, just believes in God. Is that
Kind of the way the founding fathers did.
Then yeah. I mean, if that's what that is, let me see. Let me find an actual definition of it.
I think there's a specific definition for deist. It's not coming to mind right at the moment, but it's different than theist.
Or deism. Deist is probably it. Is a movement. It's natural religion and emphasize morality. Denies the interference of the creator with the laws of the universe. Deists believe in a deity based on natural religion or in religious truths discovered through a process of reasoning independent of any revelation through scriptures or prophets. A partial list of deists can be found on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Depends on what you think natural religion is too.
Yeah, there's different definitions of that too. Cavitano says, makes one wonder, do atheists moan OMG when they climax? Probably. And I know that's a joke, but that has been one of the things that has been a point of contention between atheists and believers is, well, if you don't believe this thing, then why do you use this language, right? Why do you use language derived from our religion, our faith, our works and all that stuff? And I mean, if I were to answer that, I would say that it's probably because those things have become so endemic in our culture. that everybody uses. I mean, I say Jesus Christ is a swear word. I don't mean any offense to people who believe in him all the time, and I don't particularly believe that he was the Son of God either. It's something that I grew up hearing and saying, and it just kind of became endemic to my language.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just gone in the vocabulary of the society. Doesn't necessarily mean anything by the.
Yeah. There was a while where I was trying to alter my language a little bit, where I would say things like God's plural or hell's plural, like what the hell's, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I was attempting to more accurately reflect my own belief system in my language. But as it turns out, when you're a full ass grown adult, it's very difficult to change the way your brain or your language works. So I kind of gave up a little bit on that.
Yeah, it's like when people say, what's it, HE hockey sticks and shit is all, dude, just say hell. Jesus Christ. I don't think you're gonna get in trouble with the big guy for saying hell. I don't think he
Yeah.
doesn't
Well,
really write
especially
that
when it's
down.
so it's used repeatedly in the Bible. Like it's
Mhm.
Don't get me started with words and using or not using them. Oy. Words are words. I put the definition that I found on like actual Merriam-Webster. So yeah, that's basically what I am, I guess,
Mhm.
based on that definition. In
Well,
chat.
I think I think that's fair. See, this is something else that is always kind of I guess engendered some thought. When people talk about like based on faith or whatever, like they discount the fact that we are reasoning creatures, right?
Mhm.
Right. If we were in fact created, we were created with a mind and a brain with which to reason and to think, right? So why would we not use that?
Right.
So I mean, so when I talk about which I don't do often outside of certain circles because it is part of the thing, but when I do talk about like the more metaphysical aspects of my belief, um, I do try to approach it from a more rational and logical point of view. I happen to be one of those people who agrees with Einstein in that uh, science and religion both are incomplete without the other.
Yes.
That it really takes both of them to complete the equation. My own mother, who is a Mormon, by the way,
Mhm.
said to me on more than one occasion that God is a scientist, which he'd have to be, right?
Yes.
In order to make all this and make it all work, like to make a star, you'd have to understand nuclear fusion.
And
to,
honestly, science itself is a form of faith. It's a reasoned form of faith based on trial and error and analysis, but it's still ultimately at the end of the day a faith in knowing that these calculations that you're making are going to provide the information that you want it to or you think it will. That I'm not explaining it very well, but that's how I feel about it.
Mhm.
I'm not smart like
okay,
you.
what do I mean? I mean exactly that. I mean, I'm not sure.
Smart like us. What the hell are
So
you
I mean,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. I do believe that we must have come from somewhere, but I'm not sure what that somewhere is. That something is. That's why I said
Yeah.
if. And also, I'm just as human as everybody else. Sometimes I fucking slip with my words. It happens. Most of the time, I'm human. Rest of the time, I'm the eldritch entity, infallible. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I didn't say anything that casts any kind of aspersions on my validity as an eldritch entity, and I will affect your sanity horribly if you say otherwise. I don't know, man. Devil, you've been kind of quiet.
What? What do you
I
want
was just
to-
curious as to if you had any thoughts on the discussion.
No, like I said, I don't know what I believe. You know, I I guess I would be kind of where Gal was. You know, the idea. I believe there might be some higher power out there, something. But I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe there's a book that has all the answers and it's all put in it. I think that the whatever benevolent being it is just wants us to do good. You know, be good to each other. Don't put bad into the world if you can put good into the world, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
You know, uh, yeah. I mean, like I said, but I don't subscribe to any particular religion or anything, and I don't believe, you know, like I said, that some benevolent being gives a shit if I touch my wiener, or if I say naughty words. You know, it's just
you don't
I
just
think,
turn the portrait of Jesus to face the wall when you get down.
I just can't subscribe to some religion that says that some you know, all powerful being would give a shit about that kind of stuff. Like I said, I think he cared if it exists, cares about if you hurt people, if you you know, use your time to make people's life harder. That kind of shit I think would be more of consideration. But yeah, I don't think he gives a crap if I watch R-rated movies when I was 13. I don't think he cares. You know, it's just
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm generally of the mind that that any sort of creator entity doesn't actually give a fuck about any of us, insofar as beyond us being created and, you know, thriving and whatnot. But I don't think that the morality comes into it at all for a being of that magnitude. For gods, maybe, but I don't see gods as on the same level as that. You know, and it's I don't know. I think that what's important is that we care about doing good,
Yes.
about being good.
yeah.
I think what's important is that we make that effort. Forgetting all the other religion aside, and I know I can't justify this with like a, you know, the oh, where does goodness come from argument if not from God, that kind of thing. It's like I don't have an answer to that. You know, I'm not. I don't think anybody has an answer to that, but I do know that I have a conscience.
Yep.
You know, and I believe that most of us are born with one, and I think that conscience is what is to guide us. And I don't honestly, I don't much care where it came from. You know, I just know that it is, and it tells me not to fucking murder people. It tells me not to, you know, trample all over other people to make myself happy. You know, it tells me not to be a dick, generally speaking. I don't always listen to that last one.
Nobody's
You know,
perfect. So.
but it's like, and the fact is like it ultimately to me, it doesn't matter where that came from. So long as we have it now, we have to move through the world as though it is a thing because we know it's a thing. You know, if that makes any sense. I realize I kind of rambling a little bit there.
Come to Samuel's mega church. Donate.
Yeah. That, I mean, if I were to do something like that, I would certainly not be asking for fucking donations or anything like that. I mean, maybe to pitch in for the cookies and the fucking lemonade or whatever, but you know.
If he lays his tentacle upon you, you will be healed.
Yeah, that's one word for it. So it is what it is. I don't know. I think we're all lost and we're all trying to find our way. And some of us are a little more serious about that than others. And I think that Melanie Mack is less serious about finding her way than she is about attacking other people.
Yeah.
You know, which is, that's, you know,
I don't see her as a terrible person either.
No,
Yeah.
I don't either.
She's just,
But online, she kind of is.
she's not presenting herself in the best light.
Yeah.
like especially for the ultimate ends that she's wanting to get from it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to rehash what we've already said, but
Mm.
the means to an end, there's multiple ways to get to the same spot,
Mm.
but
Well, like they used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat, which
Yeah.
is only sort of true, by the way. There's really just the one way. It just depends on which way you start with the knife. Skin comes off the same way no matter what.
Yeah, if your ultimate goal is if you believe that being gay is a sin, your ultimate goal should be leading them away from that and back into the thing. And I don't think you get that by cussing at them, right? It's if I'm trying to save you, I wouldn't be like, Sam, I think you're living in sin, you piece of shit. So come over to my side. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's just kind of counterproductive there.
You catch
Well,
more bees with
and
honey.
you gotta take into account who your audience is too, man. I mean, like I've got old friends from church when I was a kid to this day who will call me up randomly and be like, "Hey, man, I'm really worried. Like I wish you would come back and rejoin the faith and all that stuff." And I'm just like, I appreciate your concern. That ain't gonna fucking happen. And if I don't listen to them, they're being very sweet about it. I'm certainly not gonna listen to somebody who calls me a faggot because I don't agree with her.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
Yeah.
listen to my own mother. What makes Melanie so special?
She eats
You
butter.
know? Yeah.
I eat butter too, but
So-
I'm not going around calling people
Yeah.
bullshit.
And again, this is not I don't mean this to be a shit on Melanie Mack session. I don't. I
Right.
pull her up as an example because she is one of the more prominent examples in our sphere of exactly how I think doing it wrong looks like.
Yeah.
In this case.
If
I'm
anything,
sure
you can
she's
blame me because I technically brought her up.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's a very lovely person in person.
Yeah.
She seems like she would be. I don't know her, and I don't mean to disparage her personally, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I try not to do that on this channel anyway. We do try not to drag other
Delve into
creators
the-
down or to get into it with the fucking I guess the high school drama of it all and all that stuff. That's
Right.
not what we're about.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know these people. Not really. I know these people
Right.
right here.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm not trying to antagonize anybody. I'm not trying to make enemies of anybody. I believe everyone has their opinions. I could think you're wrong. I could think you can think I'm wrong. It's totally fine. Like even just my devil persona thing here. I didn't do that to like try to, be a dick or
edgy.
something like that. Yeah, it was the reason I called myself Devil Made Me Do It was simply because I kind of find it comical when people try to use something to justify bad behavior. And I always thought it was funny, oh, the devil made me do it. This idea that I'm not responsible for my actions. And I'm really big on you're responsible for your actions. It's the reason I don't believe I'm pro-life is because you made a choice. You had unprotected sex. You have a baby now. You don't get to call a redo and,
Yeah.
take that baby's life because, oh, I can't even, it'll interrupt my partying. It's that idea. That's the only reason why I did it. And then the devil thing, me actually acting like the devil just came from everyone calling me the devil. They just shortened my name. They didn't want to call me Devil Made Me Do It. So they just said devil, devil, devil. So I went, okay, okay, I'm the devil. But yeah, like it
we
wasn't.
we all have the short nicknames.
Yeah, I call Sam Sam. I never call him Samuel the Infamous. I just call him Sam.
That's
Green,
a
I
better
call
I
one.
Green.
do. I do when talking about like I'm going to be on this stream at this time. Go to Samuel the Infamous, but any other point of conversation, yeah, it's Sam.
Yeah, and I call Green Green.
But yeah, that's a good point. People are, I guess, too quick to blame their own bad choices on others. I mean, and not necessarily other people, but other entities, other
Situations,
circumstances, other whatever's. And it's like 90% of what we go through is entirely our own fault, good and bad. You know, there's that 10% you can't control, sure.
Right.
But almost everything boils down to your personal choice, to what you chose.
Yep.
Yes, Andy Pickle Andrew made me do it.
Yeah. You know, yeah, and it's just I don't know, like you were saying about like not killing babies just because you happen to get pregnant, it was inconvenient. One of the primary drives of all organic animal life is the propagation of its own species, right?
Yep.
We are hardwired to procreate like every other fucking animal that walks the face of the earth. That leaving any kind of religious connotation out of it, the idea of preventing that from happening should be 100% abhorrent to each of us in our bones.
Yeah.
You know, down to our individual cells on a genetic level. It should fill us with revulsion and horror because
I
we're
actually-
killing our own species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does, even for the pro-choice people out there. To their core, if they were to stop and think, really actually think, relax, understand who you are, I 100% think that every single one of us it is abhorrent. But they don't want to admit that. They don't want to stop and think about that. They want to be emotional about it because they need someone or something to blame about a choice that they likely made. That's how I feel. Like anyone who argues for pro-choice, I do like, and that might just be putting my own goodness onto everyone. Not saying I'm good, like my belief that everyone is inherently good.
Yeah. For those who don't know, like the goodness angle here, I mean, Gal's kind of a tool, so
Kind of. I know what I am.
but yeah, it's just it goes against our biological drives. Forget conscience, forget right and wrong.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I mean, obviously don't forget those things. Those are good things. Keep them in
Set
your
them
lives, whatever,
aside
but,
for a moment.
you know, but for this argument, yeah, that you don't actually need a moral argument to say that it's wrong. You just need to be alive.
Yeah.
You know,
It's an
It's like-
inherent part of us.
I've mentioned this, I think once or twice before on the channel. My ex-wife and I earlier on, before the birth of our youngest, we experienced a miscarriage. And I realize that for a lot of couples, this happens a lot more frequently than it did for us. And I do feel for those people. It's fucking horrifying. And this was something that was out of our control. And I was out of the doctor's controls and nurses' control to a degree. I mean, there was some shit that happened and I kind of want to strangle some fucking medical personnel. But anyway,
What happened?
the long story short is that the kid wasn't viable, did not survive, right? And there wasn't anything we could do to stop it from happening. And I understand intellectually in my brain that there wasn't anything we could do about that. I understand that it was not, you know, even fully formed at that point. It didn't even have like eyes or whatever. You know, it was very early on. But there was a visceral part of me, like, it wasn't even just emotional. It was like I could feel it in my DNA that something had gone wrong in the universe. You know, because a part of me had just died.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't understand anybody who could go into that willingly.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I was definitely more pro-choice. And like I had all these excuses in my head about it. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it here. But never once did I think that if I got pregnant, I would ever make that choice. There is no choice in my mind.
No. I mean, when I was younger, I thought there was a bit of a, to use their terms, pregnancy scare with the woman I had been seeing. As it turns out, she was just really high stress and happened to skip periods every once in a while because of that.
Yeah,
You know?
that'll happen too.
But there was a bit of a scare, and it never once entered my mind to even suggest that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck, I guess I got to get another job now. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't super happy about the prospect of it
Mhm.
at that time. I wasn't a father yet. But I was just like, well, okay. So how do we want to do this raising of the kid thing? You know, like how's this going to work? Are we going to do like a custody thing? Are we going to live together? That was the first place my fucking head went.
I find that so interesting because a lot of the time pro-choice people will make the argument that men have it so easy when there's any situation like that. The women are the ones that have all the responsibility. It ruins their lives. They have to make all of these changes and men don't have to. And that always irritates me because they make it seem like men don't even think about those things.
Mhm.
And I am friends with a lot of dudes. I don't really have these type of conversations with a lot of them, but your head instantly goes to that. Just you saying that, the first thought, oh, I guess I have to get another job. And I've never had a situation like that. So I don't know exactly where my head would go, but like it would be, how am I going to take care of this child? Like in a different way. Like men, it's the whole argument of, oh, men don't have to worry about all these different things. And then women or men say, oh, women have life so easy. Like that entire argument of like, we're never going to be able to fully understand each other. We all have our own problems. It does not matter the gender. And I think like Lady G actually posted something on Twitter a while ago, and I wholeheartedly agreed with it. It might have been horror. But it was basically saying that like someone was complaining that men are complaining about women for these reasons, and the woman's response is, no, I have it worse. And it was just a back and forth, like a meme type of thing. And no, everybody has their own problems. It doesn't matter the gender. Everyone has it. Stop comparing my problems worse than yours. Everyone has it worse than you. No one has it worse than you. Like it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
I kind of hate
I agree
to
much.
put it this way because it makes me sound like a bit like a misogynist, but most men, when they hear that there's pregnancy, whether they want to be a father or not, they understand that tough shit. You're a father now. There are dudes out there who are just as bad as these women who go and have like fucking abortions every Friday.
Yeah.
But most of us understand instinctively. It's like the protector and provider shit, right? That's ingrained in us on a
Yeah.
genetic level. It's not something that just we just choose. It's what we fucking are.
Yeah.
And so when that comes up, yeah, that's the first thing that pops into our head. It's like, okay, well, now I got to provide for this other person. I don't necessarily have to be happy about it, but it's got to be done. And so I'm the guy to do it because it's my kid, that kind of thing. It never occurs to most of us to just end it. Never occurs to
Yeah.
us, because it's just not the way it is. I would wager that without all of the fucking, the programming, the social programming, of the last like 40, 50 years in the West, that it probably wouldn't occur to most women either. Honestly.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like, oh, I knocked somebody up. Okay, well, now I've got to figure out how to provide for that and to make sure that they're healthy and fed and achieve adulthood alive and in one piece, hopefully.
Yeah.
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 It's as simple as that. It doesn't have anything to do with just
Men versus women.
Yeah.
Oh, my
No, not
problems
at
are
all.
worse.
Yeah, and it's not. We don't even think of it as problems. Like I can't
Well,
speak
yeah,
for
I
women,
don't
but
either.
for men, it doesn't occur to us that these are problems. We're just like, we see what needs to be done, and we set out to do those things. It's because at that point we understand it's not about us anymore. It's about the
Right.
fucking kid,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So and that's I don't know. I think that's something that Gen Z and Gen whatever is coming after is having a real problem with understanding. Hi, Larry. Is that
What's up?
they don't understand that it I don't know. I guess I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but it is inherently selfish. The idea that we're having a serious discussion. Why are you coming in like that?
I'm not laughing at the discussion. I'm laughing at the fact that for once you had a point and then forgot it just as easy as you had.
Well, you popped in and you go, woo.
Then it worked.
Yeah. Well, don't do that.
Well, I don't do that. I do people. I don't do letters and words. I'm not like that. I don't even think that's possible.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Unless you make a dildo
Anyway.
that's in the shape of the letter that. I mean, the word that.
Hopefully, Lou's not still in the chat.
Yeah.
Lou was in the
Yeah.
chat.
Oh, she
was earlier.
Anyway,
So-
Sam, please continue. Rest your
I'll
little
continue
tentacles.
what? I got nothing now. It's gone.
You
Rant
completely.
over.
Or recharge your tentacles.
So, just don't kill your kids, folks. It's fucked up. And it's
Yeah.
against nature.
Yep.
It basically comes down to that. It's like, don't do it. It's not fucking right. And I don't give a shit who disagrees with me on that. It's like, oh, my body. No, it's not about you anymore. Like, that's what I was saying. Is
Yep.
that, most men, when they hear they're going to be fathers, they switch. Something switches in their brains, right? And they understand it's not about them anymore. Women, Gen Z women, you need to understand that shit too. It ain't about you.
Nope. You know what? I'll piggyback on that. When my son was born, I never understood what it meant to be a parent. As far as the instinct. You hear about the instinct, but there's nothing like it when you're actually a parent. And as soon as my son was born, it was like a switch hit, and I saw everybody as a potential enemy, including my wife. Like the instinct to protect him just overrided everything. Like literally 1 minute I'm holding my wife's hands, and the next minute I've got my son on my hand. I'm looking at him like, you touch him, I'll rip your arms off. It was crazy. It was that intense, that fast.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works, isn't it? First time I picked up my daughter, like when she was during the actual birth, right? And it came time to cut the cord and all that stuff. And, I was just kind of in shock because I just witnessed something fucking horrifying happen. And anybody who tells you that the miracle of birth is a beautiful thing has
Beautiful.
obviously never been
No.
present for one. But there's shit and blood and screaming, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Didn't bother me.
But anyway, when it came time to cut the
When it-
cord,
when-
at this point, I'm just kind of in shock. I'm numb, and
Well,
Yeah.
Sam,
so I
I'm
just
sorry.
did it without
I-
thinking. What?
Well,
What are you? Are you talking over me, dude? What's going on?
Did I break your concentration?
Oh my lord.
You've been doing it since you got here.
So that was Andy's fault. Got it.
Anyway,
Blame his victim.
I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm done making any kind of serious points.
But I
No,
wanted to hear more.
you made a serious point. That was a very serious point that you made. It's what being a man and watching the delivery. It's not pretty. For some reason, maybe God stepped in and settled me, but I had no reaction, whatever at all. I was just like, oh, he's out. Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't
like-
think Sam was saying that like he hated it. He was just saying it's gross. Like
It
the
is.
end
It's-
result is gross.
Wait,
Well, I'll pinch my nipples with that
it's-
one.
Yeah.
It's horrifying to watch a birth, and it's not just human births. Like births in general are usually just fucking.
I
So
do.
I cut the cord, and I didn't get to hold my daughter until after they brought her back after the wellness check. All of that bullshit
Yeah.
that they do nowadays. They don't just hand you your kid anymore.
Yeah.
And there was some issues where they kind of induced a little bit earlier than they should have, and so there's some bruising around her crown because, the wife wasn't fully dilated at the time, and it caused some problems. So they had to go make sure that she didn't like crush her fucking skull into jelly or whatever. But when they actually did bring her back, and the first time, yeah, Larry, like you were saying, the first time I actually held her in my own arms, it was like the entire world could burn as long as that kid stayed safe in my arms. That was the point I was trying to make.
I had my biblical cord wrapped around my throat, so I was choking. But I agree with you guys on the I don't know who would ever say, oh, it was that birth, it was beautiful and miraculous and it was so great. No, man, that's like when you see your friend abusing your favorite toy, you know, like he's breaking your toy and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like that, man. You're just like, what the hell's happening to that? I used to like that. What the hell?
Yeah, and anybody who's ever been to a maternity ward that's busy, right, will tell you that as sterile as the environment look, you're hearing screams that sound like they came out of a medieval fucking dungeon.
Yep.
It's not. Yeah. No. It just is what it is. Plus, my ex-wife was kind of dumb about things. Like she decided she didn't want any epidural, right?
What?
And
My wife did
yeah,
that.
she said no epidural. I can do it, and she's like almost ready to pop, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and now she wants the epidural, and it was actually just
late.
a little bit too late.
Yep.
Yeah,
My wife was quiet the whole time, and they told her, they said, look, your body's not letting this boy out. Every time he tries to come out, your body is squeezing and suffocating him. So either you're going to take this damn epidural so your body will relax and calm down, or we're going to have to do a C-section. And since you waited so long, you've got about a minute and a half. And by the way, if we do the C-section, we can't put you under. You're going to feel it. She took that epidural.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my ex was not quiet. She nearly broke like my right hand, right? So she grabs my right hand, and I'm like, "I'll hold your hand through this. We'll make it through this." What I did not count on was the like sudden surge of retard strength that comes with giving birth. She
That's not
nearly
just a
powdered
release
all
thing.
of the small bones in my hand.
Is that why your hand?
You know,
I
that was painful.
I could get behind the crushed hand, but like if it happened like the movies where she grabs like your nuts or some shit, that's where I'd be like, no, God.
No, luckily I'm 3 feet taller than she is, so I was able to stand a ways away. No, 3 feet. It's not 3 feet exactly. That was a
No
bit
shit.
of an exaggeration.
Yeah,
No
I thought better of it. I didn't stand anywhere near her hands because my wife has well, she's not retarded, but she has that retard strength anyway when she's not giving birth. So I was like, nope. And nurse looking at me, don't you want to open her? Don't you want to hold her hand? Nope. I was like, no, I'm good. Let her hold the side of the bed, which she did, and she just, but she never raised her both births, both times, never raised her voice. And I was like, man, how could you, every woman in that ward that was giving birth screaming, glasses breaking and everything. She
I was
like,
high as shit. Yeah. I don't know. Doesn't this make you want to have some puppies of your own, Green?
I don't care.
All this talk about like, your lower half being ripped open by the thing inside.
That doesn't affect me whatsoever.
It's fun though, because as they get big inside, as they get big inside your belly, like my daughter, they can hear what you're saying, and my wife was complaining about how my daughter would keep stepping on her bladder, and she would stomp on her bladder to make her pee, and she was just like, thank God, she's finally sleeping, she's moving a little bit, but thank God she finally got off my damn bladder, and then and as soon as she said that, my daughter switched over sideways, and you could feel her put her hands behind her head, her arms, and then she stretched out and pushed down on her bladder. You could see her little arms and hands moving behind my wife's stomach. You could see her moving. It was the funniest thing in the world. Excuse me. Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anywho, miracle of birth notwithstanding. And I say miracle with air quote. You can't see my fingers right now, chat, but I am air quoting as hard as I possibly can when I say miracle.
He's air quoting with his little broken
Tentacle.
fingers from when.
Right? I mean, it is miraculous. It's miraculous that anybody survives, first of all. it's miraculous that I mean, if you really think about it, like how many different genetic interactions have to happen for exactly you
Right.
down the way? Like, is that not a kind of miracle?
Yeah.
That's why I said science and faith are very hand in hand.
Yeah. So I don't know. We kind of gone in a bit of a philosophical
rabbit hole.
direction, especially considering that we started talking about a possible upcoming genocide.
Oh yeah, that was the only topic we got to.
Genocide, abortion, and God. We really
Religion.
exciting show.
I mean,
We had some pretty steady viewership, so someone found us interesting.
yeah. No, and personally for me, I love talking about this stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know everything by any means. I know sometimes I come off like I think I do. I do know that that's a problem. I would work on that, but I'm also a prideful, arrogant creature, so I'm probably not going to do that.
You're the sperm that won. Yes.
Yeah.
We
Damn
all
right.
born
Well,
winners.
I was gonna say we all are.
Yeah. Outraced our brothers in the womb.
Yeah. I want it most.
That's why they say we all come from our father's balls.
Basketballs, you too.
No, testicles.
Hairy testicles.
Yeah, hairy basketballs, YouTube. I'm the
If you-
3-point shot that won. I'm the 3-point
If you're
shot.
lugging around basketballs, you should probably see a doctor.
Get that checked out. Yeah.
All right, fine. Brussels sprouts. How about that? Well, then that means
It's
they
a
have
little more
gangrene.
reasonable.
Well, then, yeah, but that means they have gangrene on them. So
Well, if you let that go untreated, they won't for long.
Well,
yeah.
you know what? You could just call them like the Reese's Hearts from this year.
Or Whoppers. Remember, Whoppers, which you get from the movie theater. But then again, those are too small.
Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't those like little?
Oh, I was thinking burgers. I'm like, what?
I
mean, yeah, the
If they're the size of a Whopper, we're barely walking. At that point. That's
You were saying basketballs,
little
Eggs.
basketballs.
Eggs.
Like the little toy basketballs.
like kid-sized basketballs. Those are still bigger than Whoppers.
Great balls of fire. Yeah. So that said, we're 2.5 hours in, and I think this is probably a good time to stop before we get into the dynamics of exactly how you can, hit I don't know, a layup or something with testicles.
Yeah, I'm gonna hard pass on that.
Yeah. So we're gonna probably bring the show to a close here, but we do thank you guys for watching over on Rumble. Sanilo in particular, thank you for being here with us. Everybody in chat on YouTube, and if you're out there watching on Twix, which is I'm going to continue with this Twix thing because or I'll just go back to calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it that other thing. That's stupid.
It's stupid.
Who
No.
fucking copyrights a letter of the alphabet? But whatever. Anyway, yeah. So it's been a good show though. I think I've enjoyed myself personally. I enjoy talking about these sorts of things, and it's not quite as dour as some of the previous weeks have been. We will be getting into other more random topics down the road too, because screw dude. If I call us the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like, we should probably branch out a little bit from the constant WEF misery.
Current world topics.
Yeah, it is an election year. There probably
Didn't
will
I
be more
suggest
politics.
that a year ago?
No. That's where we were doing a year ago. It's talking about random shit. Like we had a whole episode. Me and Maester Child did a whole episode on the viability of fucking cryogenics in hyperspace. It was a whole thing. But yeah, well, in this case, Andy Pickle, it is my show, so yes.
He's the head pickle in charge, I guess.
Yeah. So let's go on the
himself,
horn.
Andy. he enjoyed himself while talking about balls.
Because I enjoy counterclockwise more than clockwise, we will go with green first. Where can people find you upcoming?
An hour and 2 minutes, Skinamax Saturday for Vets Talking. And then tomorrow on Horny Elf's channel at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. And yeah, and go to my channel. I have some videos if you would like to check them out. They're more opinion and instructional. But yeah, YouTube,
It's like
Rumble, Twitter.
JOI kind of stuff.
No. I only recently learned what that fucking term was with that stupid Madam Web shit. Because freaking Kindle kept saying JOI. I'm like, what the hell is JOI? I don't understand. So I had to I was like, I feel like it's going to be an Urban Dictionary thing. And I found it.
It's not an Urban Dictionary thing. It's a Pornhub thing.
Yeah. Well, it's in Urban Dictionary now too. But yeah.
Yes.
No, it's not JOI related. Thank you. It's cosplay related, you jackass.
Well, that's probably for the best.
Yeah,
I feel like
probably.
you'd be a bit rough. Devil, where can people find you coming?
Let's
Moving
see,
on.
what do I got? Tomorrow, Engage. And then the game stream after that, we're playing Phasmophobia. Then the regular places over the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Check out my new political show. I should be starting up this Wednesday if I can get everything ready on Beelzebub. And yeah, that's it.
Sweet. Sounds like a pretty light week for you.
Yep.
Well,
Which
enjoy
is new
yourself
for him.
then. Yeah. Larry, what do you got?
What the hell do you want?
I'm
sorry, you're talking to me.
We'll move on to me.
I was like, all right, get the stream's over.
So you guys can catch me tonight on Skinamax. You can also catch me in the chat as a moderator for the Exile Lioness 2 channel, which I just now realized is I will be doing simultaneously because once again she has decided to start the show at the same time as Skinamax.
Yeah, in about an hour.
Yeah. So other than that, you guys enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow, and you can catch me also back here next Friday with my host Samuel the Infamous and Nomi, if she is not working, on Abyssal Musings. That's it.
All right. Brings us to me. If you're on the channel, you should know who I am by this point. If you're new, welcome. I'm Samuel the Infamous. We do live streams throughout the weekend. Abyssal Musings on Friday with my co-host Larry. Screaming to the Void, which is this show on Saturdays, and tomorrow on Sunday we are doing Star Trek Engage. I forget the name of the episode this week, but we do have two Wesleys with us. Will be two guests rather, Netters Network and Last Call with Troy Pacelli. So that should be fun. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so we're probably not going to see huge viewership on that. But I'd rather be watching Star Trek than fucking Taylor Swift win the Super Bowl. So here we are. And in about an hour, you can find me over on Exile Lioness 2. Otherwise, I will pop up where I can, when I can. Probably, yeah. That's about it. That's all I got. Other people's channels. Go sub to the hub.
Wear a chain around your
get
neck
those numbers up there.
and collar when you sub to the hub.
Yeah.
I'll get this one too.
UA Samael, different dude, much bigger dick than me. I've got more of them though, so.
I thought you could
Anyhow.
extend your testicles.
It's what it is, and it's the whole thing.
Half a meter.
Yeah. I say he's got a bigger dick than me. That's not 100% accurate. Samael is an angel. Angels are junkless inherently. So, on that note, thank you all.
That's not true.
Oh, they totally are
true.
So, yeah. have a great night. Thank you all for coming. And remember, it could always be worse, YouTube. It could be raining flaming cobras. Bye.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with